Do you know, friends? Sometimes it's just the void left by someone that even having the whole world in your hands still can't fill. From strangers, then suddenly one day becoming opponents, almost losing their lives at each other's hands. Then fate brings them back together. Day by day, feelings grow. What kind of experience is that? Can both let go of past animosity to be together or not? To know how this super interesting and thrilling story unfolds, please watch with Hi. Okay. Don't forget to support Hi with a like and a channel subscription to give Hi more motivation. Thank you very much. On a majestic mountain shrouded in mist, this is the secret realm of Mount the No. It's also where the Phoenix clan resides. In the nearby bushes, there's a constant rustling sound. A pure white snake tail quickly slithers into the nearby bushes. Inside the No Divine Palace, melodious music echoes throughout the air. Countless beauties with graceful bodies continuously sing and dance, looking extremely captivating. At the banquet table, a young girl with a youthful face sits absent-mindedly looking at everything around. Nearby, two people keep glancing in her direction. Then they whisper to each other, "Hey, do you see that? That's the fifth princess of the Phoenix clan, once so unattainable. But somehow, after reincarnation, she seems to have become a different person. I heard that Phoenix Wu became like this because she lost her core. Although she has regained her immortal body, her cultivation and memories from 800 years ago are all gone. She has no memories left, it seems." The other person, hearing this, looks surprised and asks in a low voice, "So she can reincarnate without a core? Is the Phoenix clan that powerful?" At this moment, a young man in green clothes holds a wine glass towards Phoenix Wu Yu. In his eyes, countless heart shapes appear for her. "A toast to your highness, the fifth princess." Hearing someone call her, Phoenix Wu Yu instinctively turns to look. She politely responds with a greeting. The young man, hearing her greeting, feels as if countless lightning bolts are striking him. He stammers with a dumbfounded expression. Hello there. Is this still Phoenix Wu Yu? How could Phoenix Wu Yu ever be this gentle before?" She unconsciously crushes the glass in her hand. Sighing, she ponders. The two words "after reincarnation," I've heard this kind of thing hundreds of times to the point of nausea. Phoenix Wu Yu contemplates her fate deeply. This story is quite long to tell. 2 years ago, when you went out, you unfortunately encountered an accident. Your whole body was severely injured, but you were extremely lucky because afterwards you were saved by Lin Hu Dao Nan, finally relying on a trace of remaining soul to be reborn. In a moment of despair, when you couldn't remember who you were or where you came from, a man appeared worriedly calling your name. "Vo Yu, are you alright?" But life took its course. After you woke up, you discovered you not only lost your inner core, but also lost your memory. Even your own family you couldn't recognize. You looked at the strange man before you with a dazed expression and faintly asked, "Who are you?" Hearing you ask this question, the man in front couldn't help but shed tears. He painfully used a gentle voice reserved only for you. "I am your older brother. I've come to take you home." As if sensing the sincerity in his words, you slowly reached out your hand, placing it in the palm of that man, your mouth constantly mumbling, questioning "older brother." While you were hesitating mixed with doubt, the voice of Lin Hu Dao Nan behind sounded silently, confirming that man's words were true. "That's right, he's not lying to you. The Phoenix clan is your home, so you should return quickly." Later, although many investigations were conducted, but matters related to that unfortunate accident, no one could find out anything. Also, no one knew why you went out that year and who ultimately injured you. Currently, if you want to find out the truth, then the only way is to find your inner core again, returning to the present, seeing your dazed appearance. Fuang Lang Truong, who is your older brother, came over and called Vo Yu Yu. You suddenly woke up, happy to see him, quickly poured him a glass, and clinked it together. "Older brother, cheers." Fuang Lang Truong took a sip and caringly gave advice to Vo Yu Yu. "You shouldn't mind the little prince of the Peacock clan. In the past, he liked you a lot, but because he was scared by you, so he hasn't adapted to your current personality yet." You expressed the doubt in your heart to your older brother. "Is the Kermi not good?" Fuang Lang Truong's whole body stiffened, frozen for a moment. In front of him at this moment, there seemed to be two Fuang Vo Yu Yus, one cold and aloof from the past, one with an innocent face of the present. He shook his head slightly, placed his hand on top of your head, gently stroking your hair, and said softly, "No matter when, my little sister is always the best." You thoroughly enjoyed the pampering he gave you. Smiling with squinted eyes, you replied, "I know." Too excited, she immediately grabbed the wine bottle on the table, tilted her head back, and drank it all in one gulp. "Thank you, big brother. I'll finish this glass. Seeing her impressive drinking capacity, he gave a thumbs up in approval, looking extremely pleased with himself. No matter when little sister's drinking capacity is always the best. While the two were chatting, the announcement of the great deity sounded, drawing Fuang Lang Truong's attention to another direction. The envoy of the Dragon Clan has arrived. 3 princes of the Dragon Clan congratulate the 800th birthday of the 5 princesses of the Phoenix Clan. She looked at the newcomers with her big round eyes. Suddenly a hand was placed on her shoulder from somewhere. It turned out to be her 4th brother, Fuang Tiannin. He waved his hand a few times and softly called, "Little Vo Yu, come follow me quickly." Seeing her hesitate, Fuang Lang Truong, while drinking wine, reassured her, "Don't worry about things here, I'll handle it. You and little 4th go outside for some fresh air." Her heart immediately felt much lighter. She looked at him as if looking at her life's savior. "All right then, thank you, big brother." Fuang Tiannin grabbed her hand hurriedly and pulled her under a big tree. He let go of her hand and quickly climbed up high as if looking for something for her. Fuang Vo Yu stood below, looking up curiously, asking 4th brother, "What are you looking for?" In the tree canopy, Fuang Tiannin was still trying to search while smiling and answering her question. "The old Taoist from Ladi Palace has arrived. He said he wanted to give you a gift, so he told me to invite you outside." After finding what he wanted, Fuang Tiannin gracefully jumped from the high tree down to the ground. "I want to take the opportunity to give you a gift first. Can't let him outdo you." He excitedly presented a doll that couldn't possibly be uglier. Not only that its bald head had only 4 strands of hair, yet Fuang Tiannin earlier had acted all mysterious as if it was some extraordinary gift. "Tata, what do you think about this silly toy that I found in the human world? Well, do you like it?" Looking at the one-of-a-kind doll before her eyes, she excitedly hugged it tightly to her chest. "Of course I like it." Fuang Tiannin, satisfied, dusted his hands while instructing. "I knew you would like these small, worthless things that are also extremely ugly like this. Remember to keep it safe. Absolutely don't let your big brother see it, or they will mock my taste." She smiled and nodded repeatedly. "I understand, sister." "Thank you, 4th brother." Right after that, Ling Su Daoren also appeared, holding a covered bamboo basket with a cloth draped over it. No one knew what was inside. He gently stroked his snow-white beard and called out, "5th princess, your highness." Seeing him appear, countless eyes turned to look. "Look, that's Ling Su Daoren from Dila Palace." Others chimed in as well. Indeed, Ling Su Daoren treats the 5th princess very well. He even personally came to wish her a happy birthday. Feng Wuyu, after receiving the gift, along with her 4th brother, clasped their hands and bowed. "Greeting, Lang Su Daozen." He waved his hand and said calmly, "That's enough. No need for such formalities. Quickly, look at the old Taoist gift and see if you like it." As Feng Ran pulled back the cloth, she exclaimed in surprise, "Oh my, it's a snake." On the contrary, Wuyu seemed quite intrigued by this gift. She used her small arm to touch the snake. Its body was cold as ice, and it had no fur. She thought it looked quite adorable. In fact, that snake was Zifei Qi of the Snake Clan. Half asleep, half awake, hearing the word gift, Zifei Qi had a huge question mark appear in his head. "Gift? I only slept for a while on the way to Mount Chiwu to find my mortal enemy. How did I wake up to become a gift for someone else?" Zifei glanced around. When he saw the 4 characters Qi Wu Shin Gong on the sign in front of him, he was surprised. "Wait a minute, this place is actually Qi Wu Shin Gong, the territory of the Phoenix Clan's royal family." He then made a deduction. "This little girl whose birthday is being celebrated, isn't she Feng Wuyu, the princess of the Phoenix Clan?" Suddenly, his eyes flashed with a dangerous glint. His long tongue kept flicking out. "Haha, I've searched far and wide without success, yet now I've found her without any effort." Zifei Qi thought to himself, "Feng Wuyu, 2 years ago, after you destroyed my cultivation and disappeared, I've finally found you this time." Just then, Wu Yu's voice rang out, causing Zifei Qi to be cautious and retreat back into the bamboo basket. "Ling Su Daoren, can I keep it?" He calmly replied, "Of course you can." Inside the bamboo basket, Zifei Qi wondered confusedly, "Keep what?" But Feng Ran disagreed. He stepped forward and asked politely, "Ling Su Daoren, forgive me for asking this, but the Snake Clan is known for being treacherous and cunning. Their temperament is extremely vicious. So why did you give it to Wu Yu?" Faced with this question, Lin Hu Dao Nin didn't answer directly, but only said a sentence full of hidden meaning. "This is heaven's secret, and heaven's secrets can't cannot be revealed. Hearing fourth brother wanting to refuse to let her keep this small snake, Vo Yu's eyes welled up with tears as she pouted. Boo-hoo, fourth brother. Fuang Fien Nien, seeing this expression on her face, didn't know how to refuse. After all, he was only concerned for her safety, which is why he refused this thing. Unbeknownst to them, Fuang Lang Truong had arrived and overheard the conversation here. Seeing how much she liked it, he spoke up. If Vo Yu likes it so much, then keep it. Vo Yu, finding someone who agreed with her, quickly had her face light up with joy. Big brother Fuang Lang Truong's eyes turned cold, filled with menace, as he looked at the snake in Vo Yu's arms. His next words seemed to be a warning to the snake. It's just a snake. It can't transform into human form anyway. It's not enough to pose a threat to Vo Yu. If it dares to cause trouble, just kill it. In contrast to Vo Yu's joy at having Big Brother's support, Chu Fai Chi's face turned pale green. Though its body was cold as ice, sweat still poured out in the face of that aura. It silently cursed, this guy is truly arrogant. At night, while Vo Yu was in deep sleep, she didn't forget to hug the pet she was given that morning as she slept. The sound of steady breathing echoed. Discovering that she was asleep, Chu Fai Chi's eyes, which were tightly closed, suddenly opened. After its body shook a few times, it suddenly grew larger than in the morning. Cold eyes and long, sharp fangs kept eyeing Vo Yu's neck. Finally waited for this opportunity. Fuang Vo Yu, tonight is your last night. Chu Fai Chi thought its plan would surely succeed. So, extremely pleased, it slowly approached Vo Yu. On the opposite side, Vo Yu was still deeply asleep, snoring with her beautiful dream. As if sensing the threat, the necklace on her neck kept glowing. Feeling the pressure emanating from Vo Yu's necklace, it immediately halted its plan. After looking for a while, it realized it was a protective magical item. Before Chu Fai Chi's innocent and guilty eyes, the necklace suddenly lit up. A powerful energy struck its body hard. Under the powerful attack of this magical item, it was quickly forced to reveal its true form. Unexpectedly, after transforming into human form, Chu Fai Chi possessed a handsome face of the highest quality. Despite it using its own magical item to resist, but still couldn't resist the protective talisman of Wu Yu with a worried face. He sat helplessly on the ground. The streams of golden light seemed to turn into sharp arrows piercing into Chu Fei Ji's skin and flesh. In less than a minute and a half, he was subdued and tied up tightly, sitting helplessly on the floor. He cast a cold gaze at the girl sleeping carefreely on the bed. He silently cursed, "Damn you, Feng Wu Yu. It's all because of you 2 years ago. You destroyed my cultivation, preventing me from ascending. Until today, do you want to destroy me again?" In response to his questions was someone's drooling, sleeping face. She carefreely turned over, sleep-talking and giggling in her dream. Chu Fei Ji's entire body seemed to turn to stone when he realized that this little girl was still asleep. On the floor, Chu Fei Ji withdrew his gaze, no longer paying attention to her. He struggled hard to break free from the rope binding his body. Due to his concentration, he didn't notice one thing. That is, we had actually been awake for a long time. She was just pretending in front of him. She slightly opened her eyes to assess the situation and pondered. Looking at this, what I've been raising isn't a pet, but seems to be a mortal enemy. For some reason, she broke into a mischievous smile. However, an enemy might know better than others about what happened to me that year. After returning to the Phoenix clan, I've been secretly searching for clues, but never had a breakthrough. The more she thought, the brighter she smiled. She came up with a plan to go with the flow and push this snake forward. Just by tracing his background, I'll surely be able to uncover the truth. Thinking this, she silently uttered the word break. Hearing her command, the talisman on her neck began to show signs of cracking. She laughed gleefully inside. Her face was like a hunter stalking its prey. I'll first remove this smoke fairy rope for him. No need to thank me, my silly little snake, Below, Chu Fei Ji thought he was the chicken, not knowing he had become the grain in someone's hand. Seeing the binding rope break into pieces, he was very proud, thinking his abilities were strong. Success. It's just a trivial fairy rope. How could it trouble me? After a struggle, Chu Fei Ji felt his strength depleting. Therefore, his magical power wasn't enough to maintain human form anymore. He gradually shrank back to his original form, which was a small snake. His whole body was drenched in sweat. His face turned pale, panting heavily. After resting enough, he crawled back to Wu Yu's bed, secretly observing whether she had woken up or not. The person on the bed cooperatively snores loudly. The breathing sound comes out steadily with each breath. Chu Fai still hasn't learned his lesson. He doesn't give up his wild ambition, slowly crawling closer to her. Luckily, she hasn't woken up. He still has a chance. This guy is about to do something not very nice again. She slightly moves her hand, pretending to be sleep-talking. Chu Fai is startled by her sudden action, making him jump, quickly curling his body up. Sensing that she's lifting herself up suddenly, Chu Fai feels weak to the point of chills down his spine. Silently lamenting that he's been foolish again, this time he's done for. She pretends to put on a confused and worried face and asks, "Little snake, why are you hurt? Could it be that I accidentally crushed you off the bed last night?" Hearing this, Chu Fai finally sighs in relief. Then he puts on a pitiful face with teary eyes looking at her. Wu Yu gets off the bed, then orders her clothes made chez Quebec. The little snake is hurt. Take it for a checkup. Shike accepts the order and quickly complies. Yes, fifth princess. She carefully turns her head to look until Shike's back, carrying the little snake, fades into the distance. After checking that no one else is around, she goes to the window and calls out loudly for her pet, Shan Xiao. As soon as she finishes speaking, a small bird flies to the window. Shan Xiao happily bites on sunflower seeds while quickly saying, "Master called Shan Xiao here because of that snake, right?" Seeing Shan Xiao understand her intention, she rests her chin on her hand and smiles in response. "I originally thought it was just an ordinary small snake that could be like you, helping me gather information everywhere. Unexpectedly, it came to take revenge on me." Hearing this, Shan Xiao's eyes widen, mouth agape, saying in panic, "Master is so adorable. How could it have a grudge against you?" She fiddles with the protective talisman on her neck and laughs coldly. Shan Xiao, in this world there are many things disguised as cuteness. Shan Xiao finds it reasonable and nods, giving an example. That's right. Just like Master. Wu Yu hears this. Not sure if it's a compliment or criticism, she can only stammer without making a sound. She points her finger and instructs anyway. "From now on, you quietly keep an eye on him. If you discover any unusual situations, report to me promptly. Do you understand?" Shan Xiao sees she's not happy, so timely strikes a salute pose, answering loudly, "Yes, no problem." A few hours later at the pavilion, a sumptuous tray of food with all kinds of delicacies is laid out on the table, looking very appetizing. Chu Fai just smiles with squinted eyes when she feeds him various delicious dishes, making him forget all about his grudge. Seeing him so obedient like this, she happily feeds him more dishes. Just then, she hears someone calling little sister in her ear. She turned her head to look at where the voice came from, then exclaimed joyfully, "Third brother, second brother." Her second brother was Fuang Ka, the one wearing an eye mask and sitting in a wheelchair. And the person behind, pushing him, was called Fuang Kai, who was also Vo Yu Yu's third brother. Fuang Kai plucked a blade of grass and came over, squatting down to tease the little snake. "Just now we were at the medical pavilion, saw your snake getting medicine applied." Seeing the snake ignore him, Fuang Kai pouted and said, "Oh, it didn't even greet us." Chu Fai just threw Fuang Kai an indifferent look and grumbled, "Think this young master is afraid opening his mouth would scare people to death." Fuang Kai came over, took out some kind of bottle, and handed it to her, his mouth constantly instructing. Snakes that haven't become spirits usually develop consciousness quite late, so not being able to talk is also normal. "Little sister, this is for you." She took it, looking at it curiously, then asked second brother, "What is this?" Only Chu Fai recognized the origin of this item. His eyes lit up as he cheered inwardly. "Good stuff, this is really good stuff." Fuang Kai stood up, tossed aside the grass in his hand, and explained instead Fuang Kai's eyes couldn't be cured no matter what. These years I and him have sought medical treatment everywhere, accumulating quite a few top-grade spirit pills. These are all saved for you. Vo Yu felt extremely warm, always receiving love from her older brothers. She went over and gently encouraged, "Second brother, good things come to those who wait. There will be an opportunity to restore your eyes." Hearing her sad voice, Fuang Ka heartbrokenly stroked her head gently. "Good little sister, second brother has let you down." Fuang Kai looked at her with a self-blaming expression, saying seriously, "I and second brother were always outside and didn't return. 2 years ago, when you had an accident, unfortunately, we couldn't return in time. You've suffered, because of that. Chu Fai tried hearing the brothers being so affectionate felt extremely uncomfortable. He grumbled inwardly, "Him few suffered, it's me who did." She was very understanding, just shook her head slightly, and replied, "Second brother and third brother, you two don't need to blame yourselves. Those of us who cultivate the heavenly way all have our own karma and no one can interfere. Besides, aren't I doing very well now?" She looked at the little snake she was holding, using her hand to gently touch its mouth, then said a very meaningful sentence. "Now I have family who dote on me, and I also have this little snake by my side. As long as I can live happily, that's more important than anything else." Suddenly behind her back, Fuang Fien Nin's voice sounded, "But I feel it's not right hearing you say that Vo Yu and Chu Fai turned back to look without prior arrangement." She saw him leaning against a nearby pillar. She gently asked, "Fourth brother, when did you arrive?" Chu Fai saw the look in Fuang Fien Nin's eyes as if he wanted to eat him alive directed at himself. He couldn't help but repeatedly swallow. He silently reminded himself, "This person since yesterday has had a great hostility towards me. I must be careful of him." Fuang Fien Nin wordlessly reached out his hand, wanting to grab the little snake. Chu Fai only sensed danger, so he quickly moved to the side. Seeing this cold attitude of his Vo Yu also frowned. "Fourth brother, what's wrong?" Fuang Fien Nin expressed the concern in his heart. "Your protective charm was broken. Yet coincidentally this snake just happened to be injured. Don't you all feel there's something suspicious about this?" Every word of Fuang Fien Nin made Chu Fai's whole body go cold. He could only put on a pitiful look and look towards Vo Yu. She didn't expect fourth brother to be so sharp to notice this. She pretended to pick up the protective charm and examine it. Chu Fai seemed to sense that something was wrong. He cautiously thought to himself, "That's right, now my magical power is not enough to break her protective charm. And last night, it was only me and her there. Could it be that she did it herself?" Seeing him about to ruin her plan to investigate her past, Vo Yu suddenly felt angry at fourth brother. "It's just a snake that hasn't become a spirit yet." She put on a face of reluctance, unwilling to part with the little snake, and whimpered, "It has no magical power. How could it break my protective charm? Isn't that right, little silly snake?" Contrary to fourth brother's worried expression, second brother and third brother were very indulgent. They nodded in unison. Right, as long as little sister is happy." Seeing the hesitation in fourth brother's eyes, she went over and gently said, "Perhaps I accidentally crushed the pendant while sleeping." She quickly changed the subject. "Fourth brother, do you have any way to fix it?" Fuang Fien Nin picked up the protective charm, examined it for a while, then shook his head slightly. "After all, this is just a low-level protective charm. Another day, fourth brother, will make you a better one than this." Seeing fourth brother agree, she happily held Chu Fai up high, excitedly, suggesting to fourth brother, "My silly little snake also needs a protective charm." On the outside, she smiled very innocently, but inside she was laughing in a very mischievous way. "He best if it's the type of protective charm that can obey its owner. Of course, it must be under the control of the owner like me." Fuang Fien Nin spoke up, wanting to refuse little Vo Yu. "After all, it's just a snake. Do you know how precious our Phoenix clan's protective talisman is?" Seeing that Feng Feng Ran had no intention of making one for him, Zi Fei just glared once, then turned to the side and spat. "PFT, who wants it anyway?" While he was cursing 774 times in his heart, he suddenly felt something wet drop with a plop on his head. Zi Fei Chi suspiciously looked up to see and was shocked to find Wu Yu sobbing uncontrollably. "Fourth brother, I know my spiritual energy is depleted and I can't help everyone with anything. I'm only slightly good at taking care of the palace's spirit beasts. That's the only thing I'm a bit better at. It's not to the point of being useless and unable to do anything." Hearing her sulky voice with a hint of misunderstanding, little sister Feng Feng Ran's face became completely flustered. He was very afraid of making this little sister cry. He became flustered, his face extremely tense as he tried to explain, "Little Wu Yu, fourth brother didn't mean that." Seeing her cry, second brother and third brother came over heartbroken to comfort their little sister. "If fourth brother won't make it for you, then third brother will do it for you." Second brother gently patted her shoulder while advising, "Little sister, don't be sad. Just you being healthy is already the biggest help for us." Wu Yu felt the sincere concern her brothers had for her. She couldn't help but wipe away her tears and smile happily. Hee, it's true that having brothers is so nice." Seeing that she had started to smile, the three brothers finally breathed a sigh of relief and smiled along. Their faces all showed the utmost adoration for her. Feng Feng Ran came over and repeatedly patted her head lightly. Helplessly mixing indulgence with compromise, he said, "All right, fourth brother will go now. Wait for me to go make a protective talisman for you." She jumped up with joy, not forgetting to call out, "Oh yeah, thank you, fourth brother, but remember to make two." Feng Ran didn't turn his head back, but just waved his hand lightly, saying, "All right, I remember, one for the master and one for the pet, the kind that can sense each other." Fei Qi, after experiencing what just happened, felt a bit confused inside. He frowned and thought, this Feng Wu actually shed tears just to ask for a protective talisman for a tough snake. Something's not right. There must be a trap here. How can she be this simple-minded? That afternoon, as she was on her way back to her room, she summoned Sean Thursday to ask about the situation. "While I was away feeding the other spirit beasts, how was that silly little snake doing?" Sean Thursday, with a very worried expression, honestly recounted that he had observed it all afternoon, and it hadn't moved at all. He didn't know if it was because its injuries had worsened, and it couldn't move anymore. Vo Yu arrived at the place and stood outside the door, peeking inside quietly. But all that greeted her was a quiet atmosphere. Seeing the small snake not moving, she softly called out, "Little silly snake." The small snake remained silent in response. She approached closer and discovered something was wrong with the small snake. She worriedly called out, "Little silly snake." Holding the small snake in her hand, her heart filled with concern seeing the small snake lifeless, its breathing so weak. Chu Fai Chi put on a pitiful, weak expression, helplessly shedding tears. She was moved by the small snake's gaze, continuously encouraging it. "Don't be afraid. It's just a small wound. It will heal quickly." Chu Fai Chi's greedy eyes glanced at the small pouch Vo Yu wore at her waist, silently calculating. The entire Nothen Palace is full of precious herbs. I believe the elixirs of the Phoenix clan will certainly be helpful and very beneficial in increasing my cultivation. Only by deliberately making the injury worse will I have the chance to use these elixirs. Vo Yu, after transferring spiritual energy to heal the small snake for a while, discovered that the wounds remained unchanged, as if her spiritual energy had no effect. She wondered puzzledly, how can this be? Logically speaking, the doctor has treated you once, so your injuries shouldn't be this serious, right? Seeing her talking back and forth without getting to the point it needed, Chu Fai Chi frowned, silently cursing, "Stupid Phoenix." He used his head to repeatedly, but against the small pouch hanging at her waist. Vo Yu seemed to understand something. She took the small pouch and asked to confirm the issue. "You mean to say these elixirs might be effective for your wounds?" Seeing her say exactly what he meant, he nodded vigorously, afraid she might change the subject. She squinted her eyes, smiling secretly, as if she had figured out the small snake's game. "Haha, so after all this acting, you just want to trick me out of my elixirs." She poured the contents of the small pouch into her hand, revealing marble-like pills with extremely beautiful colors. Chu Fai Chi looked at them with tears in his eyes, as his goal was accomplished. "All right, it's because you want to eat them." Seeing the small snake had swallowed several pills, she naively said, "Oh, that's right. But my spiritual energy is currently weak, so I can't distinguish all the elixirs. Therefore, I don't know if these elixirs are effective for your injuries or not." She acted very convincingly. At this point, she pretended to be panicked and slapped her forehead with a loud smack, then shouted loudly, "Oh no, big trouble." Chu Feiji had just swallowed those 3 pills when he saw her expression and became terrified. His head was filled with huge question marks. His body was drenched in sweat as he cautiously looked at Wu Yu. She held out the bag in front and awkwardly explained, "Sorry, I'm so embarrassed. Just now, I think I accidentally gave you poison to eat." Chu Feiji saw the big word poison blazing on that bag, and his whole body went cold, feeling like he was about to die. He desperately tried to vomit those 3 pills out. With a pale face, he kept cursing that Phoenix Wu Yu was indeed not as simple as she appeared. Chu Feiji frantically tried to escape, but she was one step faster and used her hand to grab his tail. Chu Feiji could only cry out in his heart, screaming for help. "Antidote. Let me go so I can get an antidote." She took out a few more bags, shook them, and suggested, "There must be an antidote in here. Why don't you try them all?" Chu Feiji now knew what fear was. He cried until he nearly ran out of tears. "Boo-hoo, even a pet snake's life is precious. Please spare me, young lady." But once Wu Yu had decided, it was hard to change her mind. She took out countless pills for Chu Feiji to experience. First was the beauty pill, As soon as he took it, he turned into a cute little snake with a flower on its head. Next was the invisibility pill. After taking it, he seemed to vanish, causing Wu Yu to look around, unable to find where he was. Finally, she gave him the voice-changing pill to use. After taking just one, he started singing and humming very pleasantly, which made her very satisfied, grinning from ear to ear. After being used as entertainment to the point of exhaustion, Chu Feiji's soul nearly left his snake body as he cursed helplessly. In this life, I hate all feathered birds. Seeing his dejected appearance, she felt like teasing him more. She used her finger to poke the top of his head and then pretended to be alarmed, exclaiming, "Oh no, it's bad, it's bad. Your poisoning seems to have gotten worse. Look, even the top of your head has grown a poisonous bump. What should we do? What should we do?" Chu Feiji was blinded by anger. He was truly furious to the extreme. Unable to hold back, he cursed "damn it" out loud, feeling her getting closer and closer, and the smile on her lips growing colder, made his whole body tremble uncontrollably. He vaguely felt that he might have fallen into someone's trap. Her whole body emitted an extremely domineering aura, both wicked and somewhat unfathomable. She smiled coldly and asked, "Oh, so you can speak, can you?" Feiji now realized he had been discovered. The little snake made a few hissing sounds. "This is it, I'm done for with this girl." The little snake thought to himself, "It's over. Everything's been exposed." It's making some rustling sounds trying to distract Fuang Vo Yu. She picks up the snake, strokes it, and says, "Hey, you don't know how to talk again." The snake nods its whole body, hissing hiss hiss. She mischievously continues, "Or should I help you?" Chu Fai Tri hears this and is terrified. "What? No, don't." Immediately, Fuang Vo Yu waves her hand, her face full of excitement. "My second brother said you haven't opened your spirit yet, so you can't talk. I just need to help you generate a spirit root. In the future, you'll definitely be able to talk, cultivate, and even achieve enlightenment and ascend. But wait, stop for 2 seconds." She puts her hands on her chin, smiling with squinted eyes. "It's also my first time using this magic. If you feel uncomfortable, just speak up loudly." Chu Fai Tri closes his eyes tightly in fear. Speaking up means admitting he's deceiving Fuang Vo Yu. But not speaking up means he'll be tortured by her. The phoenix is truly vicious. Unfortunately, his magic has a limit. If he endures, he can get through it. He can't use forceful methods, he can only use his wits. Then Fuang Vo Yu suddenly stops and snaps her fingers. She smiles and says, "Little snake, can you talk now?" The snake in her hand looks extremely tense. "This time I'm dead with this girl." Suddenly, Chu Fai Tri sobs and cries like rain. "I hate the phoenix so much." She puts the little snake on the table and says, "Maybe because my magic isn't profound enough, I can't help you generate a spirit root. Perhaps the sound just now was my ears playing tricks on me." The little snake cries torrentially like a downpour, tears streaming down. "Please spare me." It continues to make hissing sounds. Fuang Vo Yu reaches out to stroke the snake back and forth. "You say the wound hurts." The snake thinks to itself, "Thanks to you, I'm about to die of pain here." Suddenly, Fuang Vo Yu withdraws her hand. The snake rubs against Fuang Vo Yu's hand. With the momentum, it launches itself and falls with a thud to the ground. Falling face down, Fuang Vo Yu jumps up, cold sweat pouring out. She appears panicked. "It's all my fault, boo-hoo. I remember in the secret realm of the Northern Palace, there's a 1,000-year-old divine medicine. It's called the Spirit Heart Grass. It can cure all ailments. Now I'll go find it for you." Shan Xiu suddenly flies in from somewhere. Shan Xiu appears panicked and says to Fuang Vo Yu, "Master, your magic power is weak. You know that realm is guarded by the 3-headed divine phoenix. It's extremely dangerous. You can't go." Hearing Shan Xiu's warning, Fuang Vo Yu suddenly looks at the snake and says, "It's my fault the little snake became like this. For its sake, I must go." Chu Fai Tri is deeply moved by Fuang Vo Yu's words. Is she really going to do it? Seeing Fuang Vo Yu determinedly leave, Sun Thursday also wanted to follow, saying, "Master, I'm coming too." It's said that in the secret realm of the No Divine Palace, there are countless divine medicines. At the same time, it's also extremely dangerous there. Fuang Vo Yu's magical power isn't high. Even if I kill her, the people of Mount the No might not be able to trace it back to me. Those were the calculations of Chu Fai Tri. Let me recover a bit of magical power first, then we'll see. The little snake rummaged through the bag. It had to eat something. So Fuang Vo Yu and Sun Thursday began to go. Sun Thursday, you hide first. Without my order, don't come out. Sun Thursday replied, Master, isn't that too dangerous? Fuang Voyu looked down the cliff. She was very determined. If you don't enter the tiger's den, how can you catch the tiger cub? Just as she finished speaking, there was a rustling sound from behind. It's here. At this time, Chu Fai Tri was hiding behind a bush. The little snake looked towards Fuang Voyu and thought, why is she alone? Where's that fat bird? Fuang Voyu appeared busy. She was very effortfully doing something. The little snake thought to itself, never mind, such a good opportunity can't be missed. Just as it finished that thought, Chu Fai Tri rushed up fiercely, intending to attack Fuang Voyu. She was still focused on picking that herb, but unexpectedly, Fuang Voyu had already known about Chu Fai Tri's action. It was at this moment, she suddenly shouted out loud, ah. The snake also heard that shout and was startled, jumping in fright. Immediately, she raised both hands, grabbing the snake's two fangs. Then Fuang Voyu playfully said, Little snake, you can change size. Did you see I was in danger, so you came to save me? The snake cursed in its mind, save you my ass. I wanted to kill you, you brat. Fuang Voyu at this moment, along with Chu Fai Tri, fell down the cliff with the momentum. The snake had now shrunk to the size of a finger. Fuang Voyu worriedly shouted loudly, Little snake, be careful. The snake fell down the cliff, hitting each rock, causing bruises and bleeding. This time it's going to faint or even die. How could it endure? Fuang Voyu gritted her teeth, trying hard to rush forward to grab the snake. Her hand reached out, almost touching the little snake. Catching Chu Fai Tri in her hand, Fuang Voyu showed joy. Don't be afraid, I'll protect you. Little snake, don't be scared. Chu Fai Tri was extremely surprised by Fuang Voyu's action. He said, Fuang Voyu. So Fuang Voyu, along with that snake, fell face first onto the ground with a thud. She fainted, lying motionless on the ground with closed eyes. Chu Fai repeatedly called out loudly, Fuang Voyu, wake up. The little snake at this time slowly crawled out. He now revealed his true form, reaching his hand towards Fuang Voyu. The elixir of the Fan clan is indeed worthy of its reputation. Just a few pills were enough for me to maintain human form. Now is the perfect opportunity for me to take revenge. She's lying motionless on the ground, unable to resist anything now. But Fuang Voyu was now pretending to wait to see what he was going to do. His hand slowly moved towards Fuang Voyu's neck. She mumbled, Silly snake, be careful. Suddenly he paused, not believing what was coming out of Fuang Voyu's mouth. He called out Fuang Voyu 3 times. He stood watching Fuang Voyu for a long time. Chu Fai slowly raised his hand towards Fuang Voyu. About to die, and still not forgetting to act, really. Fuang Voyu was closing her eyes, but actually she was closely observing that guy's actions. If you were truly kind, why did you ruin my cultivation when I was about to ascend? He gritted his teeth, determined to deal with this girl today. Then he slowly reached out to brush Fuang Voyu's hair aside. Her face revealed an innocent and harmless expression. The female snake clan is famous for being seductive. If anyone dares to touch my face, I'll risk my life against them. He now thought in his mind, the debt of gratitude to a mortal enemy. I'll repay you just to keep your body intact. Then he used the vital energy in his body to heal the wounds on Fuang Voyu's body, conveniently to probe beneath this bodhisattva-like exterior of yours to see how poisonous your heart really is. Just now when you fell into the trap, why didn't you activate the magical barrier to protect yourself? Fuang Voyu innocently replied, my magical power is too low, the magical barrier can only protect myself. I couldn't protect the little snake. Hearing Fuang Voyu's words, he showed surprise and replied, it's just a small and weak snake, why do you care so much? What is your real purpose? Fuang Voyu's eyes saddened when thinking about that snake. The little snake is different from other spirit beasts. He again asked in surprise, pressing for answers. What do you mean different? Fuang Voyu explained it, and I are the only 2 creatures without wings on Mount the No. With it there, I'm not lonely. Hearing Fuang Voyu's words, he understood everything. That's right, aren't you a phoenix? Where are your wings? Fuang Voyu replied, lost Wing Korgon. Memory all lost for Real. Hearing Fuang Vo Yu's words, he suddenly brought his face close to Feng Wuyu's face. Then slowly lifting her chin, he said, "Do you remember that you once caused someone's death? Do you recognize who I am?" She shook her head in confusion. "With my life, I still don't recognize you." The young man stared at Feng Wuyu, not understanding what was happening. After thinking for a moment, he suddenly realized, being controlled by his magic so easily like this, it seems her spiritual energy is indeed not high. Moreover, she was just injured. Was it worth getting hurt to protect me? Then he shook his head. "Let's forget everything. Forget it. Today I'll temporarily spare your life." As soon as he finished speaking, he withdrew his energy. Feng Wuyu fell back into unconsciousness. He slowly lifted Feng Wuyu up, observing her facial expression. Then he gradually picked her up completely, holding her in his arms. At this moment, Feng Wuyu was twisting, sleeping soundly. His eyes grew increasingly astonished. "I shouldn't have reached out to support her like this. Why did I do that?" At this moment, Feng Wuyu suddenly opened her mouth and mumbled a few words. "You bastard! How dare you provoke me, the sleeping princess?" He heard Feng Wuyu's words and was startled. "You! What did you say?" Feng Wuyu unconsciously started punching and kicking his face wildly. "Get out! Get out! Get out!" Feng Wuyu's thunderous punches hit his face, making several thump sounds, followed by screams of awe. "Ah! Help me, Mom!" And so he transformed back into a snake, Zi Fei Qi as before. While carrying her, he turned back into a snake. Feng Wuyu fell sprawled on the ground. She suddenly opened her eyes and woke up. She put her hand on her head. "Ouch, ouch, it hurts. Where am I, little snake, where are you?" Looking again, she saw the snake in front of her, its face purple with anger, truly resentful. So resentful. Feng Wuyu called out, "Little snake, are you okay?" Then she hugged the snake to her chest, sniffing a few times. "Choo choo. Why are you here? It's so good that you're all right." Then she whispered into the snake's hand, continuously stroking it. 2 years ago, I lost my inner core. My cultivation and memories were also lost. As she spoke, she kept stroking the snake. His face turned red. "Let me go. Just now, after falling into the trap, I remembered. In this secret realm, there's only one 3-headed divine phoenix that likes to use fake spirit heart grass to bewitch others." Then she placed her hand on the stone slab in front of her. This mountain cave is actually hidden magic beneath the fake spiritual grass. We need to use magic impact to get out, but with our current strength, only one of us can get out. Hearing this, Chu Fai Chi calmly let out a sigh. This person's calculations are too perfect. Suddenly, Vo Yu used spiritual energy from her hand to lift the snake up, startling him completely, not understanding what was happening. She decisively said, "I'll send you out of the 7 mysteries realm. Quickly return to find Big Brother to rescue me." "Okay." Then she immediately used all her strength to push hard. Vo Yu shouted loudly, "Go. Chu Fi Ti, Puset Fot Fao Bi Vo Flew for what? What if I can't come back after getting out?" After that effort, blood flowed from Vo Yu's mouth down her chin. She raised her hand to her mouth to wipe the blood, her eyes intensely focused on observing how the small snake was doing. Chu Fai Chi, faced with Vo Yu's extremely firm belief, now felt somewhat disbelieving. "Vo Yu, do you trust me that much?" Sun Thursday had now flown over. It chirped a few times, "Chip chip, master." Vo Yu lay on the ground, both hands covering her tightly closed eyes. Sun Thursday rushed over and called out loudly, "Stop acting, my sleeping beauty. That silly snake has already disappeared." Only then did she slowly open her eyes and look towards Sun Thursday. "I'm not acting at all. That magical power I used to break through the illusion consumed quite a bit of my strength." Hearing Vo Yu's explanation, Sun Thursday ran left and right, up and down, angrily chirping nonstop. "Master, why did you have to do that? We could have left him trapped there and escaped ourselves, or with your Royal Phoenix clan status, summon the 3-headed divine phoenix to kill him directly. But why didn't you do that? Master, he wanted to kill you. Why did you spare him just now? He might have already run far down the mountain by now." She slowly raised her head and gently stroked Sun Thursday. "He won't go down the mountain. Don't be angry." Sun Thursday, unconvinced, said, "Are you sure?" Vo Yu's expression was full of confidence. As long as he stays for me this time, I'm certain he won't have the heart to kill me anymore. He'll even help me uncover the truth from that year. Sun Thursday looked at Vo Yu with a bewildered expression. A bird not understanding Phoenix matters is indeed true. Then she slowly sat up, looked at Sun Thursday, and said, "But just now when I woke up, I seemed to see the silhouette of a man." Fat Mountain Autumn, did you see anyone come in? Mountain Autumn heard that and was scared out of his wits as he replied, "I didn't see anyone." Scene changes to the No Divine Palace. At this time inside, there was an announcement of good news. The fifth princess has returned safe and sound. Phoenix Wu had now returned to the palace. The palace maid, seeing Phoenix Wu's irritated attitude, started whispering and gossiping. Why is the fifth princess so angry? Wasn't she fine just now? The fourth prince saw that the fifth princess was injured. He must have thought the fifth princess fell into a trap. Wanting to send it away, the two siblings must have argued. The snake at this time on the tree closed its eyes, pretending to be uninvolved. Phoenix Tian Ran spoils his little sister so much. You'll see, he'll come to comfort her in a bit. This really has nothing to do with me, huh? Waiting all day, but no one came. The little snake now wondered, why hasn't Phoenix 4 come to comfort that girl yet? Then Chu Feiji again pulled out his usual trick. Go check on her. Not gonna check on her. What should I do? The little snake darted up from the bushes and shouted loudly. This is so annoying. Then Chu Feiji crawled off to find Phoenix Wu. I'm not caring about her. I just don't want to owe her any favors. The snake again slithered off to find Phoenix Wu. After crawling for a while, he finally made it to her bed. The little snake poked its head up and saw Phoenix Wu lying on the bed with her eyes closed. She seemed tired, sighing a few times. The little snake darted up and used its tail to caress Phoenix Wu's face. Haha. Why is it so hot? Could she be sick? In its head at this time it thought, should I call someone or wake her up? At this time Phoenix 4 had also arrived, coming to the door, seeing it slightly ajar, not closed. This afternoon I spoke harshly to little Wu Yu. I really deserve to die. He slowly opened the door and poked his head in to look inside. Looking inside, Phoenix 4 almost fainted on the spot when he saw Phoenix Wu Yu lying on the bed. On top was a fever patch in the form of the snake Chu Feiji. This natural fever-reducing patch is indeed a bit strange. Phoenix 4 rushed over to Phoenix Wu Yu. The venomous snake is cold and sinister. It can't protect you. Even the most basic warming and companionship functions of a pet it can't do. So what's the use of you keeping it? Phoenix Wu angrily replied, brother has never raised a snake. How do you know it won't be able to accompany me? In Phoenix's mind at this moment appeared the image of the argument between himself and Fuang Vo Yu. This snake is truly different from the snake tribe. After a while of warming her up with the natural fever reducer that is his own body, the little snake caressed Fuang Vo Yu, and indeed it really did have a fever-reducing effect. Suddenly Fuang Vo Yu moved, raising her hand to her forehead and stroking it. The little snake panicked and jumped to one side. It's bad, she's about to wake up, better get out of here quickly. It was dawn by now. Outside, there was the sound of a court lady calling. Fifth princess, fourth prince is here to visit you. Phoenix 4 went inside, holding out 2 small jade pendants, then spoke softly to Fuang Vo Yu. Sorry, yesterday fourth brother shouldn't have blown his nose. This is fourth brother's apology gift. Fuang Vo Yu looked delighted, reaching out both hands to receive the gift. She looked at her fourth brother and smiled in response. 2 protective talismans. Fourth brother, you're allowing the little snake to stay. Phoenix 4 nodded in agreement. If you like it, then keep it. What's the problem? It seems little Vo Yu doesn't know that Snake took care of her last night. Fuang Vo Yu was overjoyed with fourth brother's gift. Her eyes sparkled, and she smiled widely, her face full of happiness. I knew fourth brother is the best to me. Then Fuang Vo Yu went inside. Phoenix 4 stood behind and spoke, reminding her, you must quickly go tell that little snake. It also has a protective talisman now. Phoenix 4's eyes showed some concern. I put a master-servant contract in the protective talisman. If this snake tries to harm Vo Yu, it will certainly be bitten back. I just hope it obediently listens and doesn't disappoint Vo Yu. She put that protective talisman around the snake's neck. Little snake, look, from now on you and I are friends. We have matching protective talismans, wearing couple talismans. Isn't that cool? Chu Fai Tri was not happy with this story. Friends? Who's friends with you? Suddenly putting this cursed thing on me, oh no, I'm doomed. She held up one finger and said, don't be shy. Yesterday you saved me. This is the reward you deserve. If you want, I can help you cultivate to transform into human form. Fuang Vo Yu smiled widely, poking the snake a few times. How's that? The treatment as my friend is super good, right? The young snake sighed, showing little interest. It's just ordinary, nothing to brag about. By now the moonlight had risen to its zenith. Fuang Voyu called for Shanxiu. Shanxiu, take this portrait of the little snake to the snake tribe and investigate its background. Make sure to be careful. Sun Thursday nodded in agreement, obeying the order. Yes, master. The little snake was now sleeping soundly on the tree. Lying on the protective charm, the snake felt pampered. Fuang Voyu's character is quite good. So a few days later it came again. Sun Thursday went to investigate the situation for a few days. At this time, the fat bird had also returned. Master, I have information. Sun Thursday immediately reported everything to Fuang Voyu. The snake tribe always uses ferocity to rank status. Weak snake wives who haven't transformed like the little snake are often bullied by other snakes and have no status at all. Wanting to find its exact origin is as difficult as finding a needle in the ocean. But master, look at this. We brought this back for you. Fuang Voyu opened that envelope. Immediately, the image of a snake appeared on the painting, the true form portrait of the snake tribe leader. Then Sun Thursday spoke up to explain. 2 years ago, Master lost her internal energy. The leader of this snake tribe also disappeared 2 years ago. We speculate whether these two events are related to each other or not. Hearing those words, Fuang Voyu pondered. Snakes are demon tribes, unrelated to our phoenix tribe. If we must speak of a connection, then it said dragons and snakes once shared a common ancestor. Snakes, due to often doing evil deeds and being lazy in cultivation for millions of years, had no one ascend to godhood. So the snake tribe gradually degenerated into demons. Chased into deep mountains by the dragon tribe, the two tribes became like water and fire. Thinking back on that story, Fuang Voyu closed the painting and said, these two tribes have an age-old feud with each other. And our tribe and the ancestors of the dragon tribe are close. Looking from the outside, one would think our tribe stands with the dragon tribe. Looking from the outside, one would think our tribe stands with the dragon tribe. I even have a marriage arrangement with the dragon tribe. It can't be said for certain whether I and this snake tribe leader have any conflict or not. Sun Thursday then said, we must investigate his whereabouts even more. Fuang Voyu nodded in agreement. The snake tribe is very suspicious and rejects other species. You must be very careful. At this time, the snake was sneaking in, poking its head out to eavesdrop. Fuang Voyu and her fat bird were whispering. What are they saying bad about me? Looking at the painting on the table, Chu Fai tribe broke out in a cold sweat thinking, isn't that the portrait of my true form from before? How did she get it? At this moment, a maid came in calling loudly, 5 princesses and 3 princes of the dragon tribe have arrived. The crown prince invites you over. Hearing the mention of the dragon tribe, Chu Fai tribe was terrified. Over the years, the dragon tribe hated that they couldn't make all the snakes in the world disappear. We should hide first rather than run into him. It could bring trouble. Hearing the notification, Fuang Voyu immediately replied, I know, you carry the little snake and come with me. The strange woman looked down at the snake, making him feel like he was turning to stone. Master, what do you mean? The little snake is right here at the door. Chu Fai Kai, hearing himself mentioned, wanted to pee blood. The person coming is Long Clan's Fuang Voyu bringing me along. Is she crazy or did I miss here? The 8th prince of the Long clan now entered, raising his hand to Fan. 2 years without meeting. How are you, 5th princess? This is the 3rd prince of the Long clan named Hamton. Fuang Voyu sat on the chair, stroking the little snake in her hand. Thank you for your concern, your highness. My 4th brother and I have been protecting and with the snake, and so I've recovered very well. The snake in Fuang Voyu's hand now hissed a few times. Hamton, the 3rd prince, stared intently at that snake. So everyone now sat down at the banquet table. Hamtang spoke first. The 5th princess and I have been engaged for many years. We're like one family. He was still bitter about the snake in Fuang Voyu's hand and couldn't take it anymore, so he spoke directly. At today's Feng clan's family banquet, how can the 5th princess bring such a lowly snake to the dining table? Chu Fai Tri, hearing himself mentioned, was extremely angry. Is the Long clan still so arrogant and shameless? Fuang Voyu smiled brightly and replied, I originally wanted to raise a dragon, but couldn't catch one. Then she looked towards Hamton and said, does the 3rd prince have any way? Hearing those words from Fuang Voyu, Chu Fai Tri looked at her with a bewildered expression. Why does Fuang Voyu seem to dislike the Long clan? Isn't this her fiancé? Hamton, hearing those words from Fuang Voyu, His eyes widened in surprise and cold sweat broke out. What does she want? To catch a dragon. Being injured 2 years ago, has it made her brain damaged? After thinking for a moment, Hamton raised his fan to cover his mouth, smiling in confusion. The fifth princess is just joking. The Long clan has never been anyone's slave or pet. Fuanglang Truong now spoke up. Little 5th's spirit pets are all friends of our Feng clan. I'm not a slave, named Hamton, hearing this quickly explained. I didn't mean that. I just feel that the Feng clan truly has a generous heart. Another brother then spoke up. If the Feng clan didn't have a generous heart, I'm afraid someone would have already angered them to death. Third brother Fuang Kai then said, on the way back, second brother and I heard quite a few rumors saying the Feng clan relies on the marriage contract to cling to the Long clan to have the prosperity they have today. In fact, the Dragon clan basically looks down on the current Phoenix clan, which is sleeping and heartbroken. His Highness will surely come to cancel the engagement. Hearing that mentioned, Feng Ling Zhang drank a cup of tea and then looked towards Han Qing and asked curiously, is His Highness coming to cancel the engagement? Han Qing shook his head to indicate that wasn't the case. Of course not, he said. In Feng Wuyu's mind at this moment, she thought, I actually hope he comes to cancel the engagement. It's really a pity. As she spoke, she stroked the snake in her hand. Seeing Feng Wuyu's somewhat strange attitude, the little snake thought to itself, why does Feng Wuyu seem so disappointed to hear that the Dragon clan isn't canceling the engagement? It's completely different from what I had learned before. Feng Wuyu surely knows that the Dragon clan is wary of the Snake clan's ascension. She deliberately, at the last moment before you were to ascend, caused you to lose all your cultivation, to please her Dragon clan fiancé. If not to cancel, then it must be to hasten the wedding. At this moment, Zifei Qi had just regained his senses. Han Qing, sensing the tense atmosphere, raised his hand and said with a bright smile, actually, after I heard about the fifth princess's situation, I began searching the 4 seas for medicinal ingredients. I secluded myself to refine a new elixir and just emerged this morning. I came in haste, so my etiquette might be lacking. I hope the fifth princess will forgive me. Feng Wuyu looked at him blankly and said, third prince is very kind, but I don't know what kind of elixir takes 2 years to refine. Han Qing immediately replied, Tai Dan. One of her brothers, hearing the mention of this elixir, was surprised and explained, I've heard this elixir can bring the dead back to life, repair the inner core, but it only appears in ancient texts. For the third prince to have refined it is truly extraordinary. The second brother, Feng Ku, then said something that only appears in ancient texts. How does the third prince know he has successfully refined it? He immediately explained, I was so concerned about the fifth princess's condition. After refining the elixir, I rushed here to share the good news. Why don't I go back now to fetch the elixir, so we can all analyze it together? Feng Wuyu was extremely excited. Please do, hurry, and bring it here quickly. Feng Ling Zhang looked at Feng Wuyu and said, Wuyu, your eldest brother still supports your initial idea. Hearing this, everyone turned to ask in confusion, what idea? Feng Ling Zhang closed his eyes and continued, 2 years ago, we wanted to find Han Qing to cancel the engagement. I couldn't stop my little sister. The little snake was shocked to hear the words cancel the engagement. Cancel the engagement. Zifei Qi was utterly astonished. It seems Feng Wuyu isn't on good terms with the Dragon clan as rumored. Then what is the motive for Phoenix, Voyuyu, to rather fall into a fate of half-life, half-death than want to kill me? Phoenix Voyuyu was also shocked by Phoenix Lang Chuang's words. I don't remember much about the past. I'm not close with His Highness Ham Tan now. Second brother Phoenix Ka spoke up doubtfully. If he has already refined such a good elixir, and shows like that he values you, why didn't he bring the elixir here? He's clearly probing our attitude, seeing if we're in a hurry to marry you off to this person. Or should we just choose a random fiancé for fifth sister? I think the young prince of the Peacock clan is quite interested in fifth sister. Another brother spoke up in opposition. Actually, I feel His Highness Hamton isn't too bad either. The brothers who were speaking gently a moment ago now plunged into an argument. Clearly the grandson of the old lord is better than Hamton, but he's already taken the tonsure. The family often quarrels. The attitude now was extremely tense and intense. Old third rejects, sibling love starting from me and you. I insist on casting one vote for the Peacock young prince. Childhood sweethearts are so good. The brothers argued, causing Phoenix Lang Chuang to get a headache, sitting motionless with eyes closed beside it. Then the whole group fell into a deadlock. With no other choice, the brothers plunged into a fierce fist fight. On the other side, Phoenix Voyu was playing with the little snake. Objects from the fierce fight on the other side flew out one by one. Phoenix Voyu rushed to catch them and gave them to the little snake. This is good. It can strengthen tendons and bones, help you transform into human form sooner. Phoenix Voyu became more and more determined to take food and stuff it into the little snake's throat. While chasing what the brothers are carrying are all good elixirs, eat more of that to increase your magical power. Chu Fai Chi was stuffed to the point of bursting his stomach, about to explode. Eating and burping, the little snake thought in horror, I didn't expect Phoenix Voyu to be such a freeloader. At this moment, the scene shifts to the Dragon Palace. Ham Tan, after returning, was sitting sighing on a chair. Next to him was Bo Lu of the Snake Clan. Seeing Ham Tan sighing, she came over to inquire. Third Highness, have you met the fifth princess yet? He slowly opened his eyes and said, I have, but she's not like before. She's very sickly and weak now, and her brothers spoil her to the point of lawlessness, and they want to raise. Seeing Ham Tan pause without saying what to raise, Bo Lu curiously asked what they want to raise. Ham Tan shook his head and said nothing. Bo Lu then said the fifth princess's status is noble. Even if she's lawless, there are still the elder brothers at court. Wait until she becomes your highness's wife. Your highness can teach her as you see fit. Hearing Bo Lu speak like that, Ham Tan turned to show affection. If it weren't for marrying her to get the support of the Phoenix clan to help me smoothly ascend to the position of successor, I would have already wanted to cancel this engagement. I can only let her suffer temporarily by pretending to be a maid following me. So this girl is actually Ham Tan's lover. No wonder her name is Bo Lu, haha. Bo Lu nestled into Ham Tan's chest and said delicately, this servant only hopes that after your highness gets married, you won't forget about this servant. Ham Tan seduced sweetly, I won't. Phoenix Wu is only my wife in name. You are my true woman. Back to the scene on this side. Chu Fei Ji was sitting absorbing spiritual energy from the pile of elixirs he had eaten from Phoenix. Wu had fed him crazily this morning. I ate too many nourishing elixirs during the day. I need to convert them a bit. While concentrating intently, suddenly there was a noise outside the door. Chu Fei Ji immediately glanced out and shouted, Who's there? A man in black with a scarf covering his face appeared and said, It's me. But whom he was still unknown. Chu Fei Ji crawled over to that man in black and then asked, Why have you come here? If I didn't come, I wouldn't know you're being a pet for the enemy. Don't forget who harmed you, preventing you from ascending in cultivation, damaging you to the point your clansmen couldn't recognize you. Chu Fei Ji said to that man in black, On my way to Mount the No, I was picked up by the old Taoist Lin who from Dila Palace. He brought me to be Phoenix Wuyu's pet. The man in black now showed suspicion. So you're a pet by her side every day. Why haven't you made your move earlier to resolve everything quickly? Hearing this, Chu Fei Ji stammered and couldn't answer. Aye. The truth is, it's still unclear from that year. How could you ask me to make a move against Phoenix Wu? The man in black, seeing Chu Fei Ji's stammering attitude, showed anger. I heard Phoenix Wu's fiancé has already come to urge the marriage. If you delay any longer, once she's married to the Dragon Clan, it will be even harder to make a move. Chu Fei Ji lowered his head, looking apologetic. I understand. The man in black continued, taking out a vial in his hand and said, This poison vial is colorless and odorless. You only need to drop one drop in a Phoenix Wu's food. It's enough to take her life. He spoke firmly. Within 3 days. If you don't find an opportunity to strike, then for your own safety, I will come to take you away from Mount the No to save your life. Chu Fai Tri had no other choice but to nod in agreement while he wasn't sure if he would actually do this or not. Just agree first whether to take action or not. Wait until I investigate everything clearly, then decide later. Chu Fai Tri looked at that man in black and continued, Is Fuang Vo Yu from 2 years ago more formidable? Hearing the snake's words, that man in black burst out laughing. Haha, at first she only had 800 years of cultivation, slightly weaker than you were back then. So how could she possibly kill me? He then said to Chu Fai Tri, At that time, You were resisting the heavenly tribulation and had damaged your vital energy. You were just one step away from ascending and transforming into a dragon. Fuang Vo Yu suddenly rushed in and struck you with one palm, making you fall from a height of 10,000 miles. The newly formed dragon bones were shattered due to that fall. Hearing him say that, Chu Fai Tri replied, "If that's the case, then who injured Fuang Vo Yu afterwards?" He smirked and said, "After I saved you, I didn't see her anymore." Outside, they all say it's because Fuang Vo Yu was arrogant, domineering, and had too many enemies, so she was ambushed by someone who took advantage of the opportunity. Hearing him talk about Fuang Vo Yu, Chu Fai Tri couldn't believe it. Arrogant, domineering, and with many enemies. Fuang Vo Yu is someone that even a different species like me, I also like her, and she even wants to keep me as a pet. Hearing that statement from Chu Fai Tri, the man in black was surprised and continued to ask, "You ask these things because the Phoenix clan has found out something?" Chu Fai Tri shook his head and replied, No, I was just speaking casually." The man in black bent down and touched the snake's head. "Actually, for demon species like us, cultivation is more important than anything. Wait until you ascend again. Killing her will be as easy as turning your hand. But you are so eager to take revenge quickly. You can't even wait for the time to cultivate a human form. I have no choice but to risk my life with you. It's getting late. You should quickly return and wait for news from me." The man in black nodded in agreement. "Then I'll leave first." Seeing his figure departing, Chu Fai Tri looked in his direction. "It seems that the incident from that year, I'll have to change the direction of my investigation." Chu Fai Tri slithered off to find Fuang Vo Yu. "Starting from today, I must pay attention and closely observe Fuang Vo Yu's every move. I don't believe I can't investigate those matters." Had just crawled away to look for her when he saw Fuang Vo Yu fighting fiercely with the man in black. Earlier thud, thud, thud sounds rang out, breaking the quiet night atmosphere. Fuang Vo Yu's face was extremely serious. She had to deal with this man in black. What was he doing here in the middle of the night? Being hit hard, the man in black seemed to struggle to fight back. She was not to be trifled with. Chu Fai, seeing this intense situation, rushed out in panic to stop them. "Oh my goodness, why are you two fighting so fiercely?" Watching the fight, Chu Fai's eyes were wide with shock. Seeing that he couldn't resolve this quickly, the man in black looked for a way to escape. Fuang Vo Yu was determined not to let him go, so she quickly chased after him. The truth had not yet been fully investigated. If that person's identity was discovered, I would be exposed too. I must find a way to stop Fuang Vo Yu. As he was rushing to stop her, Chu Fai blinked and suddenly couldn't see anyone anywhere. The fighting sounds clearly came from here, though. At this moment, from behind came a voice calling loudly, "Chu Fai, save me." Looking back, he saw the man in black injured, holding one arm with the other. It seemed he had been wounded during the fight with Fuang Vo Yu. Seeing him appear in front of him, Chu Fai immediately became cautious. "You clearly left a long time ago, so how were you discovered by her like this? What have you done? Tell me quickly." He spoke up to explain. "I was worried Fuang Vo Yu was pretending to lose her memory to gain your trust, wanting to harm you again, so after I left your place, I secretly went to her room. At that time, Fuang Vo Yu had discovered the whereabouts of that man in black. Who's out there? Speak up." "And then what happened?" Hearing a sound from behind, Chu Fai turned and said, "She's coming. You go first. If there's nothing important, don't come to the Gnome Mountain anymore." He nodded in agreement. "You must be careful." It seems I'll have to confront Fuang Vo Yu directly. How troublesome. So Chu Fai decided to substitute for that man in black. He put on an identical black outfit like the other man, standing with his back to Fuang Vo Yu. She put her sword to Chu Fai's neck and said, "You dare to intrude on the Gnome Mountain at night." She spoke very fiercely, threatening the man in black. "Yet you don't dare show your true face to others." Seeing the young man in front of her not moving made Fuang Vo Yu also feel something was off. Why is he motionless and not saying anything? Seeing it wasn't working, Fuang Vo Yu decided to open his clothes to see who this guy was. No sooner thought than done. She grabbed the black robe and pulled it forcefully backwards. Appearing before Fuang Vo Yu's eyes, Instead of a tall, dark, smelly man in black clothes, there appeared a young man who was extremely handsome and good-looking, startling Fuang Vo Yu. She suddenly felt something wasn't quite right. He was much taller than the person from earlier. His body was stiff, and his eyes were dazed. Has he been put under a mind control spell by someone? Quick as lightning, Fuang Vo Yu decided to hit the pressure points of this stranger to subdue him before he had a chance to resist. After thinking for a moment, Fuang Vo Yu released his pressure points and began to interrogate him. Who are you, and why are you here? He looked at Fuang Vo Yu with attentive eyes and said, I am a minor immortal official serving under Huin Ko, the immortal of Tien Hak Cave Palace. Passing by here, I was attacked by a robber and seriously injured. He also used a binding spell to trap me here. Fortunately, the fairy came to my rescue. Otherwise, the consequences would have been unimaginable. Hearing him introduce himself, Fuang Vo Yu was somewhat confused. It's said that the Crane Immortal clan has friends all over the world, be they gods, immortals, or demons. Even with the Snake clan, they have connections. If possible, getting some information from him would be better than fumbling around blindly, wouldn't it? Seeing Fuang Vo Yu standing silently without saying a word, he called out loudly, Fairy, fairy. Only then did Fuang Vo Yu snap out of it and reply, My apologies. I almost killed you with one sword strike earlier. This batch of elixirs is effective for your internal injuries. Consider my apology gift. As she spoke, Fuang Vo Yu handed him an extremely large bag of elixirs. Truly very generous indeed. He smiled, clasped his hands in front of his chest, and said, Thank you, fairy, for the elixirs. I am indebted to you. I wonder if the fairy could leave a token so that this minor immortal can return home, prepare a gift, and come to thank you. Is that all right? Fuang Vo Yu looked at the sword in her hand and thought, after losing my inner core, even for self-protection, I can only rely on magical weapons. Tonight I left in such a hurry that I grabbed the heaviest sword. Giving it to this minor immortal official can be considered a favor. Fuang Vo Yu threw the sword towards him. Here, catch it. The sword is really heavy. Holding the sword in his hand, he softly said, This sword is like autumn frost. The flowing light is certainly not an ordinary object. How can the fairy give it to me so casually? Feng Wuyu said, You were injured in the territory of Mount Chi Wu. I brought this sword along to ensure your safe departure. You can return it later. The fairy is honorable. If there's anything I can help with in the future, please don't hesitate to ask. Hearing this, Feng Wuyu scratched her head and giggled. To be honest, I happen to have something I need your help with. Please explain clearly, fairy. Feng Wuyu rested her chin on her hand and pondered. I have a good friend who, a few years ago, lost something very important. She searched but found nothing. Coincidentally, during the time she lost her item, someone also suddenly disappeared. So, does your friend suspect that this person stole her item? Feng Wuyu replied, I'm not sure either. But my friend says she has a strong feeling. Only by finding this person can she uncover the truth. Who does your friend want to find? Feng Wuyu whispered softly into his ear, the Snake Clan leader, Zi Fei Qi. The young man froze in place upon hearing this. The main character has overheard the conversation already. Boo-hoo! Zi Fei Qi now revealed his true form as an extremely handsome young man. He pointed towards Feng and asked puzzledly, Fairy, you're asking me to find Zi Fei Qi. Wu Yu, seeing the handsome man, her eyes sparkled as she looked at him, those eyes shining with radiance. Xian Guang, don't be troubled. You just need to stay by Xianji Dao Ren's side and let him know if there's any news. If there are no results, I won't force anything. Zi Fei Qi, hearing Wu Yu's words, was scared out of his wits. He broke out in a cold sweat, turned to the other side, and nodded in agreement. Zi Fei Qi slowly walked away, while Feng Wuyu waved frantically. See you later, little Xianguang. Don't forget our agreement. When you come to visit, I'll show you my steel snake. The young man left without saying a word. What else could he say, darn it? The scene changes to the Snake Clan's 9 Doubt Mountain. At this time, 3 snakes on a tree were whispering and discussing something about wanting to hear about Bo Lu. A green snake next to them turned to speak to the white snake beside it. We don't know much about her affairs either. Her cultivation is not low, and she has always looked down on talking to low-level clan members like us. But since the leader's failed ascension, his whereabouts unknown, clan members think he died that day. The clan elders have redistributed the territories. Everyone on different sides, we dare not leave this swamp. Why don't you go elsewhere to gather more information and see? I once built a private vault to store treasures in the mountain and entrusted it to a single suppression elder whom I trusted to manage it. If we could find him, he will surely be able to answer my doubts. Chu Fai Chi at this moment held the sword, walking on each blade of grass, moving forward. As he was walking, suddenly Chu Fai Chi's eyes flashed with worry. He hesitantly said, "It's just in the treasure vault full of mechanisms. With my current cultivation, I'm afraid I might not make it back." He stopped in front of a deep, endless cave, pitch black inside. He gripped the sword tightly in his hand, his heart full of anxiety, unable to worry about so much. Then Chu Fai Chi rushed inside, slashing and breaking a rock inside. The cave continuing to charge forward, vines wrapped around Chu Fai Chi's sword, then continued to fight with a nasty crocodile. After a fierce battle, Chu Fai Chi sat down on the ground. He tried to compose himself. Suddenly, Chu Fai Chi shouted loudly, "Suppression Elder, this leader has returned. Why don't you hurry out to welcome me?" At this moment from behind came the voice of some old man, responding to what Chu Fai Chi had just said. "Who dares to impersonate the leader of our snake clan?" Then he angrily struck a powerful palm towards Chu Fai Chi. "Accept your death." Chu Fai Chi swung his arm, holding the sword to block strongly behind him. Suppression Elder's appearance can be faked, but memories cannot be faked. Besides me, no one knows under your knee you hide your mate's foxtail. Hearing those words from Chu Fai Chi, he froze, sweating profusely. "How do you know? Could it be you really are?" Chu Fai Chi pointed at himself, then coldly said, "Look at this dirty face. This is not the place to talk. Take me inside. I have something to ask you." The old man's eyes widened in shock. Who is this young man? "But alright, let's go inside." So the young man began to explain to make the old man understand why the sea water is salty, why fish come ashore. After a while of explanation, the old man's head had been enlightened. Suppression Elder stroked his beard, then questioned Chu Fai Chi. "You risked coming here just to ask about Miss Bo Lu." Chu Fai Chi at this moment took the opportunity to tend to the wounds on his body. He said to the old man, "Suppression Elder, Bo Lu saved me under the lightning tribulation formation during Ascension. Heard that news from Chu Fei Ji." Yam Noyet Elder was very surprised. "So it was her." Chu Fei Ji explained further. "Why are you so surprised? Did Bo Lu have any conflict with me before?" Yam Noyet Elder raised one finger to explain. "At first, Bo Lu liked you, but you were obsessed with cultivation and basically didn't pay attention to any woman. Over time, Bo Lu was hurt and said she would definitely make you regret it." Chu Fei Ji put on his clothes. He closed his eyes, sighed, and said, "If she was hurt, why did she agree to save me?" The old man made a lovey-dovey gesture. "Things like love you've never experienced. When it's too deep, love becomes hate and hate becomes love." The young man seemed about to explode with anger at Yam Noyet Elder's words. "Don't say things that make people so angry anymore." Then the old man continued to explain for Chu Fei Ji to understand. "However, even if a woman loves you or not, you can't completely trust her words." Suddenly, Chu Fei Ji lowered his eyes and said to Yam Noyet Elder, "Do you know about the 5th princess of the Phoenix clan?" The old man appeared calm and stroked his beard to answer Chu Fei Ji. "This old man has heard about her. This Phoenix clan is a glorious divine clan. It's a pity they're marrying into the Dragon clan. This 5th princess probably isn't willing, is she?" Hearing Yam Noyet Elder speak so clearly, Chu Fei Ji was somewhat surprised and turned his gaze towards him. "How do you know she's not willing? You seem to know a lot." The old man appeared very confident as he spoke to Chu Fei Ji. "The engagement between the Dragon clan and Phoenix clan has been for many years. It's long past time for them to marry, but the Phoenix clan keeps delaying. The Phoenix clan uses the excuse of not wanting to leave their younger sister. You tell me, can this Phoenix clan be truly willing?" The young man appeared very surprised at Yam Noyet Elder's answer. Chu Fei Ji just wiped his glasses as if to change the subject. He looked in another direction and said, "How come I've never heard about these things before?" Yam Noyet Elder pointed at Chu Fei Ji and asked in surprise, "Before, you were focused solely on cultivation. You never asked about women's affairs. After this time your cultivation was destroyed, you're now asking about women. It's a bit strange, isn't it?" The young man was caught off guard and stood frozen in place. Yam Noyet continued to ask, "You're not falling for her, are you?" Chu Fei Ji was hit right in the heart. He was very flustered but still tried to appear calm. He raised his hand towards Yam Noyet Elder. Chu Fei Ji changed the subject, asking where the blood jade bracelet was. He was very surprised by Chu Fei Tri's question. What do you want the blood jade bracelet for right now? Surely you don't want to give it as a return gift to the woman who gave you the precious sword, do you? The old man's words hit the mark, making the young man jump in surprise. When I recover my cultivation, the first thing I'll do is have dessert with this damn old man again. The scene changes to Phoenix Clan's Fuang Vo Yu who had just woken up. The little maid came in to ask. Fifth Princess Ham Tan has returned with the elixir. She said the spiritual medicine is hard to obtain, so she gave half a pill first for you to try. Fuang Vo Yu sat up, rubbed her eyes, and replied to the maid. Yesterday, he came to the door, but didn't bring the elixir. He went back to get the elixir, but only gave half a pill. This person is not sincere. I'm afraid he has some scheme against our Phoenix clan. The little maid curiously asked how the fifth princess knew. Fuang Vo Yu was very certain. She seemed to understand this guy well. Has he made demands to my older brothers already? The little maid broke out in a cold sweat as she answered Fuang Vo Yu. Ham Tan said, he wants to stay right next to our Phoenix clan's dragon clan. Hearing those words from the maid, Fuang Vo Yu became extremely angry. She slammed her hands on the bed and shouted loudly, brazenly demanding the floor next to our Phoenix clan's chambers. Now he's not even pretending anymore, is he? Suddenly, from far away, the fat bird returned with news. Master, it's not good. The little snake is nowhere to be found. Fuang Vo Yu received the news and was shocked, asking loudly what. She immediately got out of bed and changed clothes, her attitude very urgent. Fuang Vo Yu rushed straight to the door. Before leaving, she didn't forget to instruct the maid. Xiao Chui, go inform my eldest brother. Tell him my snake pet has gone missing. I'm going into the mountains to search. Xiao Chui replied, then what about the third prince of the dragon clan? Fuang Vo Yu instructed again, delay him. If he can't wait, he'll leave on his own. On the way, the fat bird said to Fuang Vo Yu, Master, you said the little snake's identity is unclear. Could it be that it deliberately disappeared to lure you out? Then it will set up a trap to make you. Fuang Vo Yu asserted very firmly, it's still on Mount the No. It can't go anywhere else. The fat bird continued to ask Fuang Vo Yu, my fourth brother has placed a master-servant contract in the protective talisman for me and the little snake. I can trace the location of the little snake's protective talisman to find where it is. Saying that, Fuang Vo Yu pushed the protective talisman forward to probe the situation. At this time, Chu Fei Tri was in a dense bush. The little snake said to itself, Feng Mai, that last night before I left, I hid the protective charm in the mountain. As soon as he finished saying that, Fuang Vo Yu had also arrived. She spoke, making Chu Fei Tri startled and almost faint. Little snake, what are you doing? Turning around, he saw Fuang Vo Yu with sharp eyes. Beside her was the chubby, talkative bird looking hateful at first sight. The young man was terrified, his face as green as a frog's bottom. I didn't do anything. Fuang Vo Yu continued to question Chu Fei Tri. What is this? The little snake hissed a few times. The snake showed that it was wrongly accused, not understanding what it was. Immediately, Chu Fei Tri made some strange movements. Sometimes he put the jade pendant around his neck. Sometimes he crawled into a hole to dig for something. Then he took out a bag of pearls and precious stones. Looking at the snake's actions, Fuang Vo Yu pointed a finger and asked, you mean these are the treasures that you dug up all night last night? Then Fuang Vo Yu hugged the snake, her eyes smiling. She praised the little snake, saying, wow, wow. Little snake, you're so good. Remembering what Yem Noyet Elder had told her. The blood jade bracelet was forged from ancient New Oa stone. Used for good purposes, it can transport sun and moon to nourish all things conversely. Used for evil purposes, it will devour the sun and moon, destroying life. Today, keep the blood jade bracelet and use the rest as a gift for your friend. Fuang Vo Yu now looked at the little snake and thought to herself, the little snake's protective charm has never left the Van clan's area. Although these things are quite numerous, they are not particularly rare items. It seems it really is a masterpiece that it dug up all night. The little snake now wore on its head the blood jade bracelet, basically not listening to Yem Noyet Elder's words. Looking at the bracelet that Chu Fei Tri was wearing on his head, Fuang Vo Yu bent down curiously asking what this bracelet was. Then she put the bracelet on her own wrist. This bracelet is unique in the world. Only one exists. Will she not see through it? Chu Fei Tri now crawled, overcoiling around Fuang Vo Yuyu's arm. The little snake pretended to be obedient while thinking to itself. Fuang Vo Yuyu received the bracelet from the little snake. She looked at Chu Fai Tri with affectionate eyes. "Thank you, little snake, for giving me this. It's very beautiful." While indulging, suddenly, someone's hand shot out, grabbing Chu Fai Tri's neck, making the little snake open its mouth, sticking out its long tongue. Princess. The young man appeared with a completely calm face. He said to Fuang Vo Yuyu, "Fifth princess doesn't want the medicine I gave, yet likes this trash that this low-level beast dug out from the mountain. Being choked by that bastard in this life, Chu Fai only struggled with all his might." Fuang Vo Yuyu was extremely surprised by the young man's action. She was extremely angry. "The little snake is not a low-level beast, it's my friend. Release it immediately." Ham Tan's face remained unchanged. He looked at Chu Fai Tri and calmly said, "This vile snake species deserves to die." As he spoke, he tightened his grip, making Chu Fai Tri unable to breathe, its mouth gaping open. "Is it going to be killed by this guy?" Seeing the urgent situation, Fuang Vo Yuyu rushed forward, swung her arm, and shouted, "Ham Tan." As soon as her hand swung out, it was grabbed by a hand that shot out. It was Ham Tan who had reacted to her action. He brought his hateful face close to Fuang Vo Yuyu's and said, "I always cherish flowers and jade. I don't use force against women. If the fifth princess is willing to beg me, perhaps I'll soften my heart and forgive." Chu Fai took advantage of Ham Tan's momentary distraction. The little snake lunged forward and bit his hand, sinking its teeth in with satisfaction. A clear chomp sound was heard. Even in Vung Tao, it could be heard clearly. Ham Tan was too surprised by the little snake's action. He swung his arm violently, flinging Chu Fai Tri towards the bushes. Angrily, Ham Tan shouted, "You little beast, how dare you bite me?" Seeing the little snake thrown over there, Fuang Vo Yu panicked and shouted, "Be careful, little snake," thinking it would be flung to the ground. Suddenly a hand appeared and caught Chu Fai Tri. It turned out that the four older brothers had arrived. The eldest brother looked towards Fuang Vo Yuyu and called out, "Vo Yuyu, are you all right?" Brother saw the wound on Ham Tan's hand. Suddenly, brother gritted his teeth in anger. "White, stubborn, mischievous, you dare to bite and injure an honored guest of our Phoenix clan." Fuang Vo Yuyu immediately rushed over and said to fourth brother, "Fourth brother, don't wrongly accuse the good snake." Ham Tan attacked first. Fat Bird saw that the situation didn't look good, so it immediately tucked its tail and ran away, unable to intervene. Flying away, flying away. Ham Tan suddenly spoke up at this moment. "Indeed, I reached out to touch the fifth princess's pet snake first. Seeing how much the fifth princess likes it, I also wanted to try interacting with it. Unexpectedly, it bit me once, a fatal bite that almost killed me on the spot." Insulted by Ham Tan's words, Fuang Vo Yu angrily glared at him. "You, well done. He smiled with squinted eyes and said, "Fifth princess, don't worry, it's just a small wound." Fuang Vo Yu was furiously angry, but couldn't do anything to this damned Ham Tan. He's truly a despicable, scheming green tea bastard. The eldest brother looked at Feng Wuyu and said, "This is indeed the fault of the little snake." Wuyu quickly apologized. Feng Wuyu, hearing those words from the eldest brother, looked up apologetically, stammering and unable to speak coherently. Zifei Qi, seeing the situation, the little snake thought to himself, "We're all in the same boat. This time, I'm probably done for." Then the eldest brother came over and lifted Zifei Qi up. "Insolent snake, offending the honored guest of the Phoenix clan. Lock him up in the dungeon and deal with him according to the rules." Immediately, the eldest brother restrained Zifei Qi, making the little snake extremely uncomfortable. Han Qing thought to himself, "If I still had my previous cultivation, even if it meant risking my life, I would smash this evil dragon's head. It seems it's time to quickly increase my cultivation." Feng Wuyu saw the eldest brother restraining Zifei Qi. She was extremely panicked and rushed forward, calling out, "Big brother." The second brother pulled Feng Wuyu back, preventing her from intervening. Being held back made Feng Wuyu very anxious. The second brother said to Feng Wuyu, "Wuyu, calm down and come with second brother." Then the brothers pulled Feng Wuyu away. She kept glancing back. At this time, Zifei Qi was being restrained. Beside him was the eldest brother, saying something to Han Qing. Feng Wuyu was being pulled away while angrily shouting, "Second brother, Han Qing definitely doesn't have good intentions." Then she forcefully recounted the things that Han Qing had done. "He opens his mouth wanting the Phoenix clan's border defenses. One way to your face, another way behind your back. He's truly hateful. As she spoke, Feng Wuyu raised her fist, shaking the bracelet on her wrist. The third brother suddenly rushed forward, surprised to see the bracelet on Feng Wuyu's wrist. The third brother asked, "Wuyu, where did you get this bracelet?" The scene changes to a few days later. There was an announcement for the snake to enter the hall. Zifei Qi crawled slowly into the hall, behind a group of Phoenix clan members who were discussing among themselves. Being able to see sunlight from the dungeon, that's really lucky. I heard it's because the pet snake gave a treasure to the fifth princess. The fifth princess begged His Highness, and after a few days, he let it go. Is it really a treasure? Hearing about the treasure, Zifei Qi wondered in his mind. Could it be that Feng Wuyu's brothers recognized the blood jade bracelet? How is that? Do they know that this thing is both beneficial and harmful? Feng Wuyu saw the little snake. She immediately rushed forward, exclaiming joyfully, "Little snake, are you all right?" The eldest brother standing above said, "Little snake, you provoked the dragon clan, harming the harmony between the two clans Dragon and Phoenix. I should have executed you." But Big Brother continued, "To show humanity by giving an ancient treasure. The blood jade bracelet the Phoenix clan can spare your life. If you have the talent to find treasures, then follow Fifth Sister into the Jade's secret realm. Help her kill monsters and obtain treasures. Increase cultivation, but everything you get in the secret realm must be given to her." Phoenix Wuyu rushed up to tease the snake. "Little snake, don't worry. I will protect you. Don't worry about anything." Chu Fai Chi nodded with his life. He must take advantage, otherwise they will strangle him again. So seeing the little snake nodding repeatedly, Phoenix Wuyu sat down and whispered to the little snake, "You nodded. We consider that you agree, okay?" Then she reached out her hand towards Chu Fai Chi. Immediately, the little snake rushed up, coiling around Phoenix Wuyu's arm, showing extreme obedience and docility. She looked at the little snake with affectionate eyes. "Little snake is so delicious. Little snake is so good, he." And then Phoenix Wuyu turned and left. Big Brother looked at her figure slowly walking out the door. He didn't seem very happy. A low-level snake can give treasures like the blood jade bracelet. Its identity must not be simple. For the safety of Fifth Sister of the Phoenix clan, logically we should eliminate it. But this tough snake is a gift from you. There must be your reasoning. I hope you can explain the doubts. The old immortal stroked his beard and said to him, "Although it's a different species, it's a good fate for the fifth princess." Hearing the words of the immortal, the Big Brother also somewhat understood. "Wuyu, I just hope it's as Ling Shu Daoren said. It has your destiny." At this moment, Phoenix Wuyu was sleeping on the bed with the little snake. Beside her, both were sleeping soundly. At this time, there was a clicking sound outside the door, as if someone was opening the door to come in. It turns out to be Chu Fai Chi crawling out. The little snake poked its head out, looking around to see if anyone was out here. The little snake discovered a letter on the ground. Chu Fai Chi realized it's a letter from Bo Lu. Then the little snake grabbed the letter, crawling out to the open field. Chu Fai Chi opened the letter to read. The letter said, "We are as one. If you don't make a move, I will help you." Receiving news from Bo Lu, Chu Fai Chi was very angry. "Don't meddle in my affairs." While angry, suddenly there was a sound of footsteps, as if someone was coming towards him. Chu Fai Chi panicked and immediately destroyed the letter. So it was her Phoenix Wuyu was carrying a lantern looking for the little snake when she discovered Chu Fei Ji was here. Phoenix Wuyu looked over and curiously asked the little snake, "What are you doing here?" Chu Fei Ji put on an innocent expression. The little snake made some digging sounds. Phoenix Wuyu guessed the little snake was digging for treasures. "Are you digging for treasures again? There aren't many treasures to dig up on Rentwu Mountain." Phoenix Wuyu understood and patted the little snake's head, smiling and saying, "Take your time digging. Okay, I'm very sleepy. Tomorrow morning I'll see what treasures you've dug up and I'll reward you." Chu Fei Ji was terrified. "What digging? The snake doesn't want to dig anymore." She turned to leave, yawning several times. "So sleepy." "Keep it up, little snake. I'm going to sleep first." Phoenix Wuyu appeared naive like that, but she had actually discovered everything. Sending messages to others, destroying evidence. What exactly are you planning? Phoenix Wuyu walked towards her room. The fat bird came in to report, "Master, how have you obtained evidence of the little snake's betrayal?" Phoenix Wuyu's eyes were thoughtful. She was concentrating on thinking about something. Then Phoenix Wuyu said it had destroyed the letter. "I couldn't see anything, but the evidence we have basically confirms." Phoenix Wuyu asserted that behind this little snake there are others. "I should have thought earlier if this blood jade bracelet was on Rentwu Mountain. My elder brothers would have discovered it long ago. How could the little snake dig it up? The fat bird continued to ponder what Phoenix Wuyu had just said. It was indeed very suspicious. Master, tomorrow morning you'll have to enter the secret realm with the little snake. You must be careful and vigilant. Phoenix Wuyu then took out a wooden box. She put inside the wooden box a blood jade bracelet and a fake bracelet. Looking at the fat bird, Phoenix Wuyu said, "Yes, it seems I temporarily don't have the fortune to use this blood jade bracelet." The next morning, Big Brother and Phoenix Wuyu went to the back of the mountain. At this time, Chu Feiji had also followed. Wuyu cultivation methods have their own opportunities. Big Brother looked at Phoenix Wuyu with eyes full of concern. This time you can only rely on yourself. She lowered her head, her eyes sparkling as if thinking about something. When needed, try to activate the blood jade bracelet. See if it can replace your inner core to circulate qi in your dantian. Phoenix Wuyu nodded, yes. Then she walked forward. Let's go. At this time, Chu Feiji was curled up on the grass. Seeing Phoenix Wuyu walk forward, Fuang Voyu was seen walking ahead. Chu Fai Tri also crawled up and followed closely behind her. Inside, beautiful flowers emitted a sweet fragrance above were butterflies fluttering about. Chu Fai moved along with Fuang Voyu. As they entered inside, his eyes were bewildered by the scene before him. Suddenly Fuang Voyu said, "You and I will split up and act separately." The little snake looked blankly towards Fuang Voyu, not understanding what she intended to say and do. Suddenly the little snake pulled out a bag. Inside were many sparkling gems. Chu Fai Tri made a few hissing sounds. "Look, last night I dug up many of these treasures." He thought Fuang Voyu would be delighted when she saw that pile of treasures. Contrary to that, her face still showed complete indifference. "These are the treasures you dug up last night." The little snake's heart ached as he thought to himself, "It was all pulled out by me. Where would I dig it up from, Grandma?" Fuang Voyu turned away again, showing little interest. "A few low-level blood replenishing elixirs are enough. You can use them yourself." The little snake saw her indifferent attitude. He suddenly felt like turning to stone. What's wrong with her, heavens? Shouldn't she hug and kiss me, lift me up, and praise me for being capable? Then Chu Fai Tri thought to himself, "Indeed, women are changeable. Isn't it just splitting up to act separately? Who can't live without whom?" So the two of them each went their separate ways in opposite directions. The snake angrily left. "Even if I die, I won't go with you." After walking for a while, the little snake glanced back to see where she was going. Seeing that Fuang Voyu didn't look back at all, Chu Fai tried to turn his head back and thought, "I'm absolutely not worried about her, but accepting the request from her older brother. Even as a snake, one must keep one's word." At this time, Fuang Voyu had entered the secret cultivation realm, a place called Dream Toad. At this moment, behind her was Chu Fai Tri hiding behind a rock. "I'm hiding in the dark. No need to listen to Fuang Voyu's criticism anymore. Also not breaking my promise to her older brother. I'm truly a genius, hee. Hearing rustling sounds, rustle. Fuang Voyu turned back and asked loudly, "Who's there?" The little snake was startled and hid behind the rock. Almost got discovered by her just now. Then the snake poked its head out and was shocked when it couldn't find Fuang Voyu anywhere. What the heck, where did she go? She was just here, how fast? Seeing the snake looking around bewildered. It turns out Fuang Voyu was playing a trick. She was also hiding behind a rock, secretly following. Surely it must be up to something. Suddenly there was a loud bang, making Chu Fai Tri and Fuang Voyu startled, looking towards the direction of the sound. There was an announcement: 2 companions more than 10 m apart will be punished. Coincidentally, the distance now is 10.1 m. It's over. As soon as the sentence ended, lightning struck down, causing the little snake to reveal its true form as a dry skeleton. Boom. "It's over, Mom. Save me." The girl raised her nose and sniffed deeply. "Seems like there's a smell of snake meat. The smell of grilled meat is so delicious." Chu Fai Tri at this time was beaten to the point of being charred all over, lying in a heap on the ground. Seeing that the snake had been beaten, Fuang Voyu panicked and shouted loudly, "You've beaten it, so you can't beat me, okay?" Chu Fi Ti, angry purple, thrashing its tail on the ground, so angry it wanted to bang its head on the ground. Then here, stop over there. That Tian Van had created a pouring rainstorm, aiming straight at Fuang Voyu and making her stand frozen in place. She was extremely angry. When 2 people stop facing, distance exceeding 10 m will also be punished. 1 person moves, 1 person stands still, then the stationary person is punished. Hearing the announcement of that strange rule, Fuang Voyu was shocked, thinking, what kind of rule is this, heaven? The little snake teased her with a few mocking sounds. Fuang Vo Yu was furious. You just wait, you will pay for this. Then she quickly ran towards the opposite direction. The distance now again exceeded 10 m, and the little snake was struck by lightning again, grilled into a snake barbecue dish. The snake ran away again. A rainstorm poured down on Fuang Vo Yu's head again. The two at this time, one was soaking wet, one was struck by lightning to the point of becoming grilled snake unbearable. The two then stood close together. Can't waste too much time already. So the two shook hands and decided to call a truce. Burying each other for half a day, now it was already dark. It's getting dark, we need to find a place to stop. Fuang Vo Yu's eyes were worried. It's so quiet here during the day. At night, there will surely be a fierce battle. The snake hissed a few times, agreeing, being struck by lightning, miserably unable to go on. Boo-hoo. Fuang Vo Yu seeing that side. Suddenly, she swung her arm out and put it on Chu. Come on, little snake. It was now lying on the grass face, showing satisfaction, its tail curling back and forth. Searching all day, finally the two had found a cave to stay temporarily here. For one night, Fuang Vo Yu took out a torch. I have investigated, and there is no demonic aura here. Looking back, the snake had been snoring soundly for a while. Fuang Vo Yu looked at the little snake and sighed. You have a deal with me, yet you dare to sleep soundly in front of me like this. Are you really that bold, or are you deliberately trying to make me let my guard down? The little snake was pretending to be in deep sleep, rubbing its face against Fuang Vo Yu's finger. After looking at the snake for a while, Fuang Vo Yu sighed and said, Fine then. I'll keep you for a few more days. Wait until I have evidence, then deal with you. It's not too late. At this moment, she was entering the consciousness of that little snake. She sat on a chair. Below was Chu Fai. Try being tied up. Demon, you're really not obedient. Fuang Vo Yu's face was full of confidence. No matter what you do, you're still just a subordinate under my command. Chu Fai Try, being tied up, showed anger and shouted you. Release me now. Fuang Vo Yu approached and lifted Chu Fai Try's chin. This sight alone makes my heart ache. At this moment, a loud laughter echoed. It was the Yam monster from the secret realm appearing. Well done, entering the dream to control the opponent. It will disappear after the dream ends. The Yam monster approached to tease Chu Fai Try. What you fear most is actually a woman. He was embarrassed and angrily pushed the Yam monster away. You ugly thing, how dare you enter my dream? Get out now. Finally, the little snake woke up. It was truly a terrible nightmare. Chu Fai Try was startled and scared out of his wits. What a crazy dream. I can't be that bad. The little snake woke up with a start, realizing Fuang Vo Yu was nowhere to be seen. Suddenly turning around, he saw a sword at his neck. It turned out Fuang Vo Yu was closing her eyes, about to attack, making Chu Fai Try panic and hiss several times. Fuang Vo Yu, are you crazy? Immediately she swung her sword. Chu Fai Try dodged. Fuang Vo Yu, do you really want to kill me? The little snake continuously dodged Fuang Vo Yu's sword attacks. Why are you forcing me? Chu Fai Try revealed his true form to defend against her moves. He swung his hand behind Fuang Vo Yu's neck. The sword fell, and Fuang Vo Yu also collapsed. He reached out to catch her body. There was a rustling sound above from something. Lifting her up, Chu Fai Try said, This monster must have gone to find reinforcements. If we don't run now, when else? Fuang Vo Yu slowly opened her eyes. What happened to me? As soon as she opened her eyes, she saw a handsome young man appear in front of her. Who is he? Fuang Yu was lying on the bed at this time. She slowly regained consciousness. As soon as she opened her eyes, Fuang Yu's head felt like it was being hit by a hammer. Ouch, it hurts so much. Fuang Yu sat up abruptly. She glanced around the room. She wondered where this place was. Weren't we in the mountain cave? Zi Fei Chi saw that Fuang Yu had woken up. The little snake looked at her and said, We were attacked by monsters in the mountain cave. You fainted, and I carried you out. We wandered aimlessly and ended up at this wooden house. Seeing that suddenly the little snake was speaking so eloquently today, Fuang Yu quickly rushed over to grab the snake and asked in panic, You can talk now. Just now you were injured. I wanted to save you, but I couldn't do it. Zi Fei Chi realized he had been discovered and thought, Oh crap. The snake slapped its head with its hand and said, In a moment of frustration, a foreign spiritual energy rushed straight to my crown chakra. so I awakened my spiritual consciousness. This must be my destined opportunity in this secret realm. Hearing what the little snake said, Feng Wuyu thought to herself, what it's saying is not unreasonable. But why do I remember seeing a human before I fainted and not a snake form? Then Feng Wuyu said to the little snake, so how did you carry me out? Zifei Qi heard Feng Wuyu's questioning words. He realized she was intentionally trying to probe him. Zifei Qi thought for a moment and said, I ate a pill that can make me grow bigger. I used my tail to carry you out. Feng Wuyu, hearing that she was coiled by the little snake, panicked and said, you used your tail to drag me for the entire journey. Zifei Qi put on a smug face and replied, that's right, that's right. After thinking for a while, Feng Wuyu found the little snake's explanation to be quite reasonable. No wonder her neck was hurting so much. Zifei Qi seized the opportunity to show off. Luckily, in the urgent situation, I was quick-witted. Otherwise, you would still be in that dilapidated cave right now. Suddenly, she lunged forward and grabbed the snake's neck, then made a disgusted face and said, next time, you're not allowed to drag me anymore, understand? The little snake immediately had an idea. I have a thought. Then next time, I'll bite you and carry you in my mouth, okay? Hearing this bold idea from Zifei Qi, Feng Wuyu broke out in a cold sweat and said, that's not allowed either. Seeing that his idea wasn't accepted by her, Zifei Qi came up with another idea. Then immediately, Feng Wuyu interrupted him. What, don't you know your place? As she spoke, she bonked the snake on the head with a thud. Feng Wuyu then smiled brightly and said, call me master. Let me hear you try. The snake was so angry that smoke came out of its head. Phoenix Wuyu said, what's wrong with this little one? Is it crazy? After entering the secret realm, it's been acting so strange, putting on this mysterious act. It even wants me to call it master. I'm the proud leader of a snake clan. How can I not care about my reputation? Seeing the snake standing there silently without answering, Phoenix Wuyu asked, you don't agree? Is it because you had a master before? Or is it because deep down, you think I'm not worthy of being your master? The snake suddenly panicked and shouted loudly, I'm not. I don't. Phoenix Wuyu suddenly covered her face with both hands and cried, boo-hoo-hoo, perhaps we don't have the fate of master and servant. The beautiful time we had before was probably just my imagination. In Zifei Qi's mind at this moment, good and evil were fighting simultaneously. Damn it, I came here for revenge, not to accept a master. Forget it. For the sake of the revenge plan, calling her master once won't hurt. After a fierce internal struggle, Zifei Qi trembled all over, closed his eyes, and uttered the word moss. While waiting for the tour, suddenly there was a whoosh-whoosh sound that shook the entire room. Looking outside, they saw a huge black shadow engulfed in flames, standing at the door. Phoenix Wuyu panicked and screamed ghost. The whoosh-whoosh sound continued. After thinking for a while, Phoenix Wuyu guessed that it must be the owner of this wooden house who had returned. Zifei Qi hid behind her, closely observing that large black shadow. A figure rushed in angrily and shouted loudly, you two thieves, how dare you trespass into my territory? Do you know where this place is? Phoenix Wuyu's face showed fear as she looked at the black shadow and said, Senior, we unintentionally offended you. We only came in to seek shelter because the wooden house was empty. If you mind, we will leave immediately. The old man rushed in and said, this is the wooden house my wife loves the most. She hates strangers entering this house. If she finds out you've been here, she'll surely blame me for not guarding well and kick me out of the house. However, if I kill you in the secret realm, your auras will disappear as well. My wife won't know you've been here. Hearing the old man's threats, Phoenix Wuyu became very worried. She thought to herself that she had read in a magazine, the scariest thing in the secret realm is not encountering high-level beasts, but encountering humans. Because in the secret realm, except for intruders, there are no living people. Zifei Qi was also extremely frightened. Huang, if I could maintain human form, maybe there's still a small chance of survival. Saw him rushing towards herself. Phoenix Wuyu rushed up to stop the elder. Please stop. Wait a moment. Immediately Phoenix Wuyu sat the old man down at the table, poured tea while massaging him, saying, Junior is disrespectful and daring to suggest an idea that can help you hide your wife, and also make up for our mistakes. Hearing this girl speak is quite pleasing to the ear. The old man glanced up and said, "Let me hear what you have to say." Chu Fei-ji felt something wasn't quite right and panicked. "Does this Phoenix, will you have a chance? What is she babbling about?" Phoenix Wu Yu immediately rushed to explain, "I see that Elder's cultivation is extraordinary. To erase all strange traces in this house must be as simple as turning your hand." The old man, being praised, flared his nostrils and replied, "That's only natural." Seeing this, Phoenix Wu Yu immediately rushed up with both hands clasped in a fist and said earnestly, "I knew Elder not only has high cultivation, but also a kind heart. If Elder is willing to help us, the little snake and I volunteer to stay and work for Elder." Hearing Phoenix Wu Yu's words, Chu Fei-ji was extremely surprised. Has Phoenix Wu Yu gone crazy? A living person appearing in the secret realm certainly isn't an ordinary person. Staying by this old man's side isn't that asking for trouble. The old man heard Phoenix Wu Yu's suggestion. He was extremely pleased and laughed loudly. "This little girl, I haven't agreed yet, and you're already labeling me. Unfortunately, those who mistakenly entered this wooden house before, as long as they were couples, we would keep them to help me and my wife water and tend to the herb garden. But you two don't qualify." Phoenix Wu Yu immediately responded cleverly, "Elder, as long as you agree to let us stay, we can be husband and wife." As she spoke, she stroked the little snake in her hand. Chu Fei-ji heard Phoenix Wu Yu's words and was terrified. "What the hell? What nonsense are you talking about?" The old man, after hearing the words from Phoenix Wu Yu, he wasn't easily fooled, and replied, "Little girl, don't try to deceive me. You two, one is a descendant of the Phoenix clan. One is from the Snake clan. Even if the sky falls, you can't be husband and wife." Phoenix Wu Yu sighed and said, "Well, we're indeed not husband and wife yet. To be precise, we're just a little short of becoming husband and wife." As she spoke, she stroked the head of the little snake, showing they were very close. Looking at the snake and Fuang Vo Yu Yu's head silently cursing, "Why are you standing still? Hurry up and cooperate a bit, little snake." The snake could only stand there motionless. It's really boring indeed. Then suddenly she burst into tears and wailed. "After the little snake and I accidentally met, then we got to know each other and developed feelings for each other. But very quickly, it was discovered by the elders in the clan. They forced me to give up the little snake. Boo-hoo-hoo. I'm really suffering." The old man heard Fuang Vo Yu Yu's crying words. He seemed to be a bit understanding. "You've abandoned your clan to choose the one you love." Fuang Vo Yu Yu hugged the snake to her chest and cried in response. "It's because of this that we're being hunted by the entire clan. While fleeing, we stumbled into this place by accident. The poor little snake, in order to protect me, exhausted its spiritual energy and couldn't maintain human form. The snake was frightened by this girl's supreme acting skills. Truly the queen of acting, the lord of performance. If you're going to act, why all this my love and darling stuff?" The old man smiled and raised his hand to his nose, saying, "It's rare to find someone with the courage to pursue true love like you two." He smiled and pointed towards the snake, then replied, "Well then, the secular world doesn't understand how precious true love is. This old man will lend you a hand." Fuang Vo Yu Yu's face lit up as she looked at him and thought to herself, "Success, success. Such terrible acting, and it still worked. I'm really lucky indeed." Then he stood up and walked clomp towards the distance. "I can keep you here to hide for a few days. I can help your snake husband regain human form." But speaking of which, the old man hesitated for a moment, then smiled a vile smile. "I have one condition." Fuang Vo Yu Yu immediately asked, "As long as it's good for the little snake, I can do anything you want. What's the condition?" The little snake looked at Fuang Vo Yu Yu at this moment very confidently. "When Fuang Vo Yu acts, even I can't distinguish what's real and what's fake. This demeanor of hers is no different from when we were together before. Before, she was very attentive to me. Don't be afraid. Thank you, little snake, for giving me this. It's very beautiful." "What's that, little snake? Don't worry. I will protect you." Recalling those memories, in Chu Fai's mind there was only doubt. Could it be that her good treatment of me before was also just her acting? The old man now opened the door and went outside. He said to Fuang Vo Yu Yu, "There are many spirit beasts in this secret realm. The way my wife and I survive is by offering the herbs from this medicinal garden to the master of the secret realm in exchange for peace. But every night there are thieves who come to steal the herbs. Your task today is to guard these medicinal herbs. Ensure they are not stolen, then you can stay here." Hearing the old man assign the task, Fuang Vo Yu stepped forward and asked curiously, "What if the mission fails?" He suddenly laughed in an extremely frightening manner. "Those herb thieves will kill you." Then he leisurely walked away with his cane. I'm leaving now. I hope I can still see you two tomorrow. The old man walked away, leaving behind Chu Fai Tri and Fuang Vo Yu, who were extremely worried, frantically pondering his words. While worrying, suddenly Fai Tri looked towards Fuang Vo Yu and shouted loudly, "Run now if we have to face this old man. We still have a 20% chance of winning." To the little snake's words, Fuang Vo Yu replied that they couldn't run. Do you know what it means to meet a living person in a secret realm? Either he's a puppet of a high-level beast, or he is the master of this secret realm, holding the life and death of everyone in the secret realm. Hearing Fuang Vo Yu's words, Chu Fai Tri found it reasonable. If it's the former, we still have hope of survival. If it's the latter, then we only have death. So she leaned close to Chu Fai Tri's face and said, "You just awakened your spirit, yet know quite a bit, huh?" The young man was startled and searched for a reason to protest. In the Ace San tribe, there are also some secret realms provided for others to cultivate. I'm not qualified to enter them, but I've heard some rumors. At this time, something from the grass emitted a fragrance floating in front of them. Fuang Vo Yu was distracted by those images. Suddenly, she went to the flower and sat down, pointing and saying, "Come here and see what this is." Chu Fai Tri saw that flower and immediately judged. Zhang Chao grass bears fruit every 3,000 years. This is Ketyu grass that only grows near beast lairs. Each plant is guarded by a beast, absolutely must not be picked. She glanced at the little snake and smiled, saying, "To nourish my body, I go to the Phoenix Clan's medical hall every day. I've only heard of Zhang Chao grass, but never seen it before. It seems the Snake Clan has become quite powerful now. Even a small snake without cultivation like you is so formidable." The young man, being mocked, angrily replied, "If you have something to say, just say it. Don't be so ambiguous." Suddenly she declared, "That old man has deceived us. If the herbs here must be offered to those beasts, there's no reason to risk offending the master of the secret realm by stealing herbs." At this moment, there was a rustling sound in the dense bushes. Suddenly, unless the person coming to steal the herbs wasn't a thief, but rather saw that monster already in front of them, Fuang Vo Yu immediately said it was the original owner of the herbs. That was the guardian monster of the herbs. "It looks like there will be a tough battle between us and that monster." Thought the two sides would immediately jump into a fight. Instead, Fuang Vo Yu was seen tucking the little snake under her arm and running for her life. Hurry, run, run fast. And so began a life or death chase between the white wolf and the girl who likes to talk but also likes to run. The number of laps run at this point had reached 999 rounds and 30. The girl unleashed the technique Snake Shadow Kick. It turned out to be a move using the snake to fight the wolf. With a powerful strike, the snake lunged headfirst towards the wolf with a thud, knocking it out on the spot. The wolf was furious at being hit by the Snake Clan's self-sacrificing technique. It let out a few howls. As the wolf lunged forward, it was immediately hit by Fuang Vo Yu's low-level paralysis, charm multiplied by 99. She breathed a sigh of relief. "Luckily, I was smart enough to tire out the wolf. Otherwise, these charms might not have been enough to hold it." Then Fuang Vo Yu picked up the snake and said with a smile, "My little Fuquak was also very effective. Didn't miss a single hit." Haha, Fuang Vo Yu is smart. She called out to the old man, "Senior, the late-night mission has ended. It's daylight now. Surely you won't go back on your word and watch a poor couple like us die in the mouth of a wolf monster, right?" Chu Fai Tri, hearing Fuang Vo Yu's words, broke out in a cold sweat. This snake had never seen anyone play such a card before. It was truly frightening. The old man and his wife approached, smiling and saying, "Little girl, you are indeed very good at tricks." Fuang Vo Yu replied, "Seniors, the herbs are undamaged. The wolf monster has also been caught. Will you let us pass?" Then the old man looked at his wife and asked, "Thursday Yuyan, what do you think?" His wife replied, "This couple has wandered here. It wasn't easy for them. Husband, let them pass." With the roof's permission, he smiled and said, "If that's Thursday Nuong's wish, I will certainly comply." Suddenly, Chu Fai Tri thought in panic, "This is not good. I'm about to transform into human form in front of Fuang Vo Yu." Just as he finished thinking, exactly as Chu Fai Tri had feared happened. At this moment, he had transformed into a handsome young man in front of Fuang Vo Yu. Seeing his handsome, dashing appearance, Fuang Vo Yu stood as if turned to stone. "Oh my god, he's so handsome." Saw Feng Wu staring at him. Zi Fei Chi immediately pulled up his shirt to cover his face. Feng Wu approached and curiously asked the little snake, "Why are you covering your face?" He laughed coldly and replied, "When I was young, I was injured on the face. Now my spiritual energy is still weak, not enough to maintain a perfect human form." Seeing that this guy was hiding something from her, Feng Wuyu immediately rushed forward, grabbed his hand, and angrily thought, "There really is a wound on his face. Or maybe he doesn't want me to see his entire appearance." She assured him, "I won't look down on you." Zifei Qi continued to shyly explain, "Women all like people with good looks. Moreover, you are from the noble divine clan. I can't let your clansmen look down on me furthermore." Zifei Qi immediately burst into tears, boo-hoo begging, "Senior, please give me a mask to cover this disfigured face of mine, to prevent my wife from seeing it and feeling heartbroken." Seeing the two of them fussing over each other, the old man thought to himself, "These two are not only teaming up to deceive me, they're also deceiving each other. This is even more interesting than the worldly affairs before." Coming here, he laughed coldly and left. "Anyway, it's boring, I'll help you then." Immediately, he produced a mask. "I happen to have a very beautiful mask, but this mask is made from touchstone. Although it can hide an ugly face, it also has the effect of making people speak their true feelings. Snake General, are you sure you want it?" Hearing him say this made Zifei Qi tremble all over. He stood still without saying a word, but Feng Wuyu was overjoyed. "Want it, want it? My husband likes beauty. Covering it up is certainly good." Then she rushed forward to take the mask. "Moreover, my husband has nothing he can't tell me about. He always speaks his true feelings, so the effect of this mask won't cause any harm." Feng Wuyu received the mask and turned to put it on Zifei Qi. She appeared extremely happy. "Husband, you said it right." The young man was scared out of his wits, his face turning pale without a drop of blood. "Wife, you're right." The old man's wife called out, "Husband." Hearing her voice, suddenly Feng Wuyu was startled and looked back. This voice, why does it sound so hoarse? She then commented, "The feelings of this young couple are really good." Hearing his wife say this, he rushed forward to grab her hand. "It's not bad indeed." Looking at the attitude of this couple, Feng Wuyu was somewhat suspicious. Why is this old lady so strange? Her face is always smiling, while her husband's face is always unpleasant to look at. Chu Fai Chi had now put on the mask. He went up, hugged Phoenix Wuyu's shoulders and said, "Wife, you have a murderous aura." Seeing Phoenix Wuyu not saying anything, Chu Fai Chi turned and asked, "Am I ugly?" She replied, "You're okay." That's what she said, but in Phoenix Wuyu's mind at this moment, she was actually praising him. As expected of the snake I raised, even with a mask on, he's more handsome than others. Chu Fai Chi leaned down in front of Phoenix Wuyu and said, "Have you been criticizing me?" Phoenix Wuyu also played along, acting as if it were true. "What are you saying? We're life partners, we don't look at appearances." After answering, Phoenix Wuyu quickly put on a panicked expression. Then she suddenly pointed towards the Yao Lan. She shouted loudly, "The Yao Lan is trying to run away." As soon as she finished speaking, the old man was already standing in front of that white wolf. Seeing the old man standing in front of the wolf, it was so scared it almost fainted on the spot. Then suddenly the wolf lay flat on the ground, its four legs waving continuously. "Woof, woof, 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 woof. That's my good dog." The wife came over, smiling at him, and said, "Husband, we just happen to be short of a dog at home. Let's take this little dog home." He smiled and nodded in agreement. All right, I'll listen to you." Then the couple held hands and left. Before leaving, he didn't forget to turn back and wave goodbye. "Phoenix wife, snake husband, you can consider your mission completed. My wife and I live opposite the herb garden. We have prepared a house for you. Follow me." Phoenix Wuyu immediately nodded in agreement. So the two of them followed the couple. While walking, Phoenix Wuyu secretly assessed, "This old man's wife is so strange. You be careful." Chu Fai Chi said, "I should be the one reminding you to be careful. Just now you looked at that woman for too long. The old man's eyes almost pierced through you." Phoenix Wuyu asked him back, "So what did you call me just now?" Then Chu Fai Chi patted Phoenix Wuyu's head. He raised his hand and said, "Your mind is really not stupid." Being patted on the head by the young man, Phoenix Wuyu froze. "Snake boy, have you forgotten who is the master and who is the pet?" The young man pulled his hand back, cleared his throat, and coughed a few times. Ahem, ahem. "Your hair is a bit messy, I was just fixing it for you." She waved her hand and calmly replied, "Let's go, be a bit more cautious." Chu Fai Chi was very surprised by his own action just now. Why did I unconsciously reach out to touch her hair? Then he thought it's all because Phoenix Wuyu spoiled me before. So the two of them went into the house of that old couple. The Lan clan members were captured as pets kept in the old man's garden. Looking back now is the scene of Chu Fei Ji sitting gnawing on bones, teasing that dog. The meat smells so good, pity that Lan Jun is just a dog pawn, can only gnaw on bones, can't eat meat. Phoenix Wu at this time saw the young man struggling with the dog. She went up close to Chu Fei Ji's neck. The elder told you to feed the dog. Are you eating chicken legs with the dog too? She continued laughing, saying, are you being childish or what? Chu Fei Ji was teased by Phoenix Wu. He suddenly spoke loudly for the whole area to hear. First time seeing a wolf act like a dog, just curious. Chu Fei Ji intentionally spoke loudly for the whole village to hear, but suddenly he whispered softly to Phoenix Wu. After that old man chased me away, what did he say to you? Phoenix Wu immediately rushed over and grabbed Chu Fei Ji's collar. He asked me some things about the Phoenix clan's affairs, and gave me a map of the secret realm too. Their eyes suddenly met each other. Phoenix Wu stared intently, while Chu Fei Ji was breaking out in a cold sweat. Inside the room at this time there was a voice calling out, Phoenix lady, Snake Lan Jun, come in here, this old man has something to say. Chu Fei Ji heard that voice and rushed up at speed. Here, I'm coming right away. Phoenix Wu held the jade in her hand. She thought to herself, at such a close distance the little snake didn't even realize that the bracelet I was wearing was a fake one. Seeing Phoenix Wu standing stiffly over there, Chu Fei Ji turned and asked loudly, wife, why are you standing stiffly over there? Phoenix Wu, startled, turned and smiled, saying, I'm coming. Then the two held hands and left. Inside here, the old couple who owned the farm saw the two come in, and the old man spoke up. During the day, the herb garden doesn't need watching. You two go into the thunder forest and give me a piece of thunderwood. Chu Fei Ji heard the old man's instructions. He asked curiously, is it dangerous, my wife? And I watched the herb garden all night and fought with the lawn demons too. We're exhausted, elder, can you give us a different task? The wife suddenly gave a sharp look towards Chu Fei Ji. Phoenix Wu noticed that her eyes had something not quite normal about them. He took her hand and then spoke. Deep inside that forest, there is a stone still thunder transformed from the inner core of an ancient divine beast Chinyo. I see that Phoenix Lady's Dantian is empty. Perhaps it will be useful for you too. Then he smiled a very mysterious smile. Go or not go, you two discuss it. Then suddenly, with a blink of an eye, that the couple sitting in front of the chair was no longer there. Chu Fai Chi and Fuang Vo Yu were sitting on the grass in front of the house. Chu Fai Chi said this inner core is probably a trap. Do you want to go? Fuang Vo Yu also agreed with Chu Dui Chi's thoughts. She replied that his son is even more frightening than him. Could it be that we'll be killed on the spot? At Fuang Vo Yu's words, Chu Fai only broke out in a cold sweat, saying, that's right, that's right. She let out a cold snort, then closed her eyes. Moreover, he said that inner core has an effect on me. I want to go and try it out. Chu Fai Chi looked towards Fuang Vo Yu and said, without an inner core, you are still the noble princess of the Phoenix clan, just unable to cultivate. That's all. Why do you need to go through such trouble? The girl Fuang Vo Yu cried like a child. Without an inner core, I will gradually regress to a newborn state until I disappear. She lied, saying, I'm not willing. I haven't even seen what you look like yet. Chu Fai Chi could only remain silent at Fuang Vo Yu's words. He turned his face to one side and replied, I've never heard of anyone dying from losing their inner core. Fuang Vo Yu cried like rain. This is a secret of the Phoenix clan. How could outsiders possibly know? The young man, hearing those words from Fuang Vo Yu, wanted to turn to stone. I am an outsider, and this is one of her own. Chu Fai just stood up and said to her, then I'll go with you since we've come this far anyway. So the two held hands and left. On the way, Fuang Vo Yu was extremely happy. She kept thanking the little snake profusely. You really are such a good person. Suddenly, Fuang Vo Yu asked again, that's right, I still don't know what your name is. He snorted and then replied, after I awakened in the mountains and followed Ling Su Daoist, I've never had a name. She happily said, then I'll give you a name, okay. How about calling you Chu Bai? Hearing the Chu surname mentioned made the young man's soul leave his body. What do you mean, Chu? He thought to himself, has she discovered something already? Fuang Vo Yu laughed very happily, saying, Chu. That's right, exactly the surname of your snake clan leader. They must really value the word silver. I find it very interesting. What do you think? Chu Fai just tried to appear okay. I also find it very, very interesting. A mysterious look appeared on her face. He dares to share the same surname as the leader. It seems this little snake is not an ordinary snake. At this time, in the Thunder Forest, the two slowly entered inside. The surroundings were extremely cold and gloomy. This must be the Thunder Forest that he mentioned, right? While walking, suddenly Chu Fai Tri pulled Fuang Voyu back, shouting, "Be careful." An extremely powerful lightning bolt struck in front of them. The lightning hit the ground, causing rocks and dirt to fly everywhere. Extremely terrifying. Fuang Voyu's eyes were filled with panic at the event that had just unfolded before her. Fear was the first thing, but at this moment a memory in her heart suddenly ignited. This image was too familiar. Could it be that 2 years ago I encountered a heavenly tribulation? Chu Fai Tri saw Fuang Voyu's panicked attitude. He turned and said, "It is said that the ancient beast Huinge can summon rain and wind. Control lightning, let's retreat, and think of a strategy before proceeding." Then he turned to look at Fuang Voyu and asked curiously, "What's wrong with you?" Fuang Voyu held her head and made a few gasping sounds. Something's not quite right. The thunder and lightning were now striking more fiercely. Chu Fai Tri looked up and said, "Lightning is about to strike." Then he politely picked her up. "Excuse me." At this very moment in that thunder forest, Fuang Voyu was lying in Chu Fai Tri's arms. The lightning strikes were getting more and more intense. Chu Fai Tri hugged Fuang Voyu tightly, continuously dodging those lightning bolts. Each thunderous boom striking down was terrifying. He looked at her and called out loudly, "Wake up quickly, we're about to be struck by lightning." In that distant memory, Fuang Voyu recalled the memories that were slowly flooding back into her mind. Continuously, there were shouts from Chu Fai Tri. "Fuang Voyu, if you don't come to your senses, I'll throw you away." Hearing that, she seemed to want to wake up. Immediately, she opened her eyes wide. After shouting until his throat was hoarse, she finally woke up. Finally awake, "I was scared to death." Fuang Voyu now raised her hand, staring at Chu Fai Tri. He also looked at Fuang Voyu's hand, not knowing what it was. While intently focusing, suddenly Fuang Voyu opened an umbrella, hitting the young man right in the face. With a smack, Chu Fai Tri was in pain and shouted loudly, "Fuang Voyu, are you trying to ambush me?" The girl replied in panic, "It's because you're standing too close." So this is the lightning rod umbrella, everyone. If it doesn't expand, it can't protect both of us. If you don't want to be struck by lightning, quickly grab onto it. Hearing her introduce this umbrella, it sounded so magical. Chu Fai Tri didn't believe it and questioned, "Are you sure this tiny umbrella can protect against thunder and lightning?" Seeing the young man's disbelief while still holding on tightly, Fuang Voyu pulled it back and said, "It needs spiritual energy to maintain. Transfer your power to it. If you don't want to be struck by lightning, hurry up and do it." Hearing Fuang Voyu's words, Chu Fai Tri immediately transferred his power into the umbrella. Fuang Voyu looked seriously straight at Chu Fai Tri and announced, "I have some talismans to enhance spiritual power. Wait for me to stick them on." The thunder and lightning at this time concentrated and grew more intense. Aiming straight at the two people sheltering under the umbrella, it struck hard, making their hair stand on end. The umbrella was hit so hard it almost turned to rags. Then Chu Fai Tri spoke sarcastically. "Who said this umbrella was effective?" Fuang Voyu looked like she wanted to crawl into a hole at the young man's mockery. Fuang Voyu immediately rushed forward with a cheerful look and said, "Don't worry. Just now it was because the umbrella's spiritual power wasn't enough. That's why it was struck by lightning. I have a bigger one here." Fuang Voyu immediately rummaged through her pockets. After half an hour of searching, finally Fuang Voyu pulled out a larger umbrella. She opened the umbrella and shouted, "Look at this. He was waiting to see what she would do next when suddenly the blood jade bracelet on Fuang Voyu's wrist cracked. The blood jade bracelet is broken. Fuang Voyu was extremely panicked when she saw this. The bracelet on Fuang Voyu's wrist shattered and fell to the ground. Chu Fai Tri thought to himself, the blood jade bracelet was made from ancient Nuwa stone. It can't be broken by a lightning strike. The bracelet that Fuang Voyu wore was a fake. It seems she had been prepared for me all along. Fuang Voyu was very confused in this situation. She tried to distract Chu Fai Tri. She smiled and said, "Sorry, Chubai. The bracelet is broken. I will return another treasure to you later." This girl is truly a queen of changing subjects. That's right. Have you seen the lightning attracting stone? Suddenly, Chu Fai Tri noticed something over there. He turned and said, "It's over there." that was the deepest part of the forest. At this time, the thunder and lightning were striking down more fiercely, getting stronger and stronger. Those lightning bolts aimed straight at the red umbrella and struck repeatedly. It seems this umbrella can withstand thunder and lightning better than the previous one. We can use this umbrella to go over there. Girl Phone, will you gave Zi Fei Qi a medicinal pill? This is a spirit pill. It can help you replenish the spiritual energy you've consumed, but it will slightly damage your spirit. Once we get the Thunderstone out, it will be fine. Zi Fei Qi immediately nodded in agreement. As he walked, he silently calculated in his mind. Feng Wei no longer has her previous memories. She and I are not of the same clan. It's normal for her to be cautious of me. Don't I also want to kill her? We're even. It's all fair. In Feng Weiyu's mind, she was also thinking like Zi Fei Qi, things have been as they should be since entering the secret realm. The little snake has never abandoned me in times of danger. Even if he has intentions towards me, surely he doesn't want to pursue and kill me to the end. The two people have been walking for a while. Finally, they have reached the location of the Thunderstone. We're here. The lightning is now striking concentrated on the umbrella continuously. The closer to this stone, the stronger the lightning force becomes. Zi Fei Qi spoke up to explain. The thunder and lightning of the entire forest must be operated through this stone. If we take it away, perhaps the lightning will stop. Zi Fei Qi glanced towards Feng Weiyu, asking how many talismans were left. Feng Weiyu startled and replied, "There's only one last talisman left. If we don't succeed, we'll be struck dead by lightning here." Hearing Feng Weiyu's announcement, Zi Fei Qi immediately rushed forward, pulled her back, and stared at her, asking, "Do you dare to make a bet with me?" She replied with a cheerful face immediately. "Why wouldn't I dare?" Feng Weiyu and Zi Fei Qi slowly walked towards that stone. Zi Fei Qi reached out to lift the stone from the rock. As soon as the stone was lifted, immediately the dark clouds in the sky dissipated. Sunlight suddenly appeared from somewhere. Zi Fei Qi and Feng Weiyu were overjoyed. We succeeded. We succeeded. At this moment, Feng Weiyu turned after discovering someone approaching from behind. She kicked straight out. Immediately, Zi Fei Qi raised his hand to block. He shouted in panic, "Who is it?" The old man appeared and grabbed that stone. "Is it you?" Feng Weiyu was extremely panicked. Senior's cultivation is higher than ours. If you wanted this Thunderstone, it would be as easy as turning your hand. Why wait for us to retrieve it and then rob it? The old man chuckled and replied, "The thunder and lightning of this forest becomes stronger when encountering strong people. With you two paving the way, this old man saved quite a bit of effort." Feng Weiyu, standing behind, said, "This old man is too powerful. Let's leave here first." Chu Fai Chi turned to ask Phoenix Weiyu, "How many spirit pills do you have left?" Phoenix Weiyu immediately handed them all to Chu Fai Chi. "Here's all I have left." Right away, he emptied the bag and ate all the spirit pills. "Enough, enough. I've taken as much as I need." After consuming all the spirit pills, Chu Fai Chi stepped forward. "Wait, I'll go steal a core for you." Hearing those words from Chu Fai Chi, Phoenix Weiyu's face became extremely panicked. She opened her eyes wide and stared intently at him. At this moment, in the thunderous forest, the old man raised his hand, the thunder-resistant stone still in his grasp. He flew towards the two people in this secret realm. No one can resist the Master God here. As soon as he finished speaking, Chu Fai Chi had already rushed towards him. The old man's face, which was confident, suddenly turned panicked. "Master God, my ass." Just as he finished saying that, Chu Fai Chi lunged forward before the panicked old man. He used all his strength to kick the old man right in the dantian. Phoenix Weiyu froze for a few seconds, unable to believe that Chu Fai Chi was this strong. The old man grunted, his eyes cold and sharp. He laughed loudly, looking towards Chu Fai Chi. "You think you can harm me?" He gritted his teeth, not caring about the old man. "Who cares about you? Anyway, the thunder-resistant stone is mine now." Looking back, they saw that Chu Fai Chi was holding the thunder-resistant stone. Phoenix Weiyu's face was full of joy. She clenched her fist in a victory celebration pose. The old man was furious. "You want to die?" Chu Fai Chi flicked the thunder-resistant stone in his hand, showing a provocative attitude. "You want it?" Then Chu Fai Chi threw the stone hard towards the old man's feet. "Go pick it up yourself." The stone flew straight towards a distant direction, out of the old man's reach. He immediately rushed in the direction the stone had flown. Immediately, Chu Fai Chi looked towards Phoenix Wu and shouted, "Little Phoenix, next it's your turn to act." Phoenix Wu heard the call and prepared to leap up to catch the stone. Phoenix Wu, quickly catch it and run. Phoenix Wu leapt to grab the stone. Come onorevole. Around her body, the image of a fiery phoenix shone. Finally, she caught the stone in her hand. Phoenix Wu's face was full of joy. But looking back, she saw the old man choking and controlling Chu Fai Chi. He laughed loudly at her. "Little Miss Phoenix, don't you want your partner anymore? Can bring the Kwang object together to train? Your relationship must not be ordinary, right? Do you really have the heart to let him die?" Phoenix Wu held the stone in her hand. Her face looked worriedly towards the old man. Reluctant, but then suddenly her face showed an unusual calmness. "Normally, I can't beat your pet, so I'll just raise another one later." Hearing that heartless statement coming from Phoenix Wu, Chu Fei felt a bit desperate. Is she really that heartless? The old man's hand tightened more and more. "What a waste of your diversionary tactics, sacrificing yourself to steal the item for her. She doesn't care about you at all." Chu Fei closed his eyes and answered him, "If you want to kill, then kill. Why so talkative?" Suddenly Phoenix Wu let out an extremely loud shout. The old man saw her reaction. His face was unusually cheerful. She softened her heart look, but that shout was accompanied by a mischievous face grinning from ear to ear. "I didn't want to tell you. This dragon feather phoenix wing is a speed artifact. If you don't kill me first." Then she teasingly stuck out her tongue at him and flew away. "Bye-bye, old man," angered to the point of spitting blood. "I must kill you, you little brat." His eyes were full of anger. He gritted his teeth, not accepting this reality. Immediately, he struck a palm towards Chu Fei. He spat blood and let out an ah. Originally planned after stealing the stone for Phoenix Wu, to tell her to leave the secret realm. Why did she do it her own way, making me feel so uncomfortable? Well, at least one person managed to escape. As he was falling, suddenly there was a loud call, "Chu Bai." Phoenix Wu at this moment turned back to save him. She rushed up shouting, "Chu Bai, quickly give me your hand." Immediately, Chu Fei reached his hand towards Phoenix Wu, who was rushing over. Their hands touched. Phoenix Wu pulled Chu Fei towards herself. She hurriedly said, "That damn old man is chasing too closely. I don't have time to call my senior brothers to come help. Now there's one way that can buy us some time. Do you dare to try it?" Chu Fei asked in surprise, "What way?" Phoenix Wu immediately explained, "That old man wants the thunder-conducting stone. This thing must have a very big effect. You quickly eat it." The young man was terrified when hearing her extremely bold idea. Immediately, he put the thunder-conducting stone into his mouth, swallowing the stone whole. Fuang Vo was very excited. "All right. Later when that old man attacks, you threaten him. You want to self-destruct. Destroy the stone." The old man had already arrived at this time. He rushed over and shouted loudly, "You think swallowing the thunderstone can protect you?" He reached out a hand to grab the phoenix chi. "Ah, that's even better. Obediently come with me." A stream of dark energy from his hand shot straight towards the phoenix chi of the two. The two were shocked to discover they had been followed. Not good. The phoenix feather is about to explode. Just as the words were spoken, the flying feather exploded into pieces, causing the two to be thrown off, seeing stars. Fuang Vo Yu and Chu Fai Chi fell to the ground, lying in a heap. The old man called for that demon thing to come collect their bodies. "Lock them up. Tomorrow we'll refine the elixir." "Yes, master." So Fuang Vo Yu and Chu Fai Chi were imprisoned in a dark dungeon. The two were eating desperately to recover their blood and mana fully. "Eat mort tout replenished your status." No. Chu Fai Chi at this moment asked Fuang Vo Yu, "Why did you come back to save me? Are you seeking death?" Fuang Vo Yu's face was mischievous. "Because I won't abandon my friends." At Fuang Vo Yu's words, Chu Fai Chi looked up puzzled, unable to speak. You. At this time, the two were sitting in a dark cave. A torch was brought down to light a large fire. The fire crackled. Fuang Vo Yu was sitting in front of Chu Fai Chi. Seeing his shy attitude, she spoke first. "You don't be too moved, actually I." Chu Fai Chi coughed a few times. Ahem. "You are the first person who disregarded life and death for me." As soon as those words were spoken, the two looked at each other intensely like bananas frozen, unable to say another word. The young man held his head in anguish. "That wasn't what I meant just now. It's all because of this mask." Fuang Vo Yu was sweating profusely, her mouth smiling nervously. "I shouldn't tell him. I came back because I couldn't escape, haha. That's not it, Mom. It was Fuang Voyu's turn to cough a few times, ahem, to divert attention. I've thought a way to deal with that old man. Let's give it a try. Chu Fai-chi immediately asked, what's the plan? She immediately pointed at Chu Fai-chi's stomach and said, that old man once said the Thunderstone becomes stronger when facing strength, making him wary. She was very confident in her judgment. As long as you can convert the power of this stone for you to use, we might have a chance of winning. Chu Fai-chi closed his eyes and replied in front of her absolute strength. Immediately Fuang Voyu rushed over to cover his mouth. Before all hope is lost, don't say unlucky words. The girl showed extreme confidence. We must seize every opportunity we can to become stronger. If bullied in the future, the first reaction is to fight back, not to run away. Then she turned to glare at the young man, making him jump in surprise. Do you understand the word white? The young man nodded repeatedly, understanding. Then try to summon the lightning force. Following Fuang Voyu's words. Immediately Chu Fai-chi nodded in agreement, hands clasped in front, trying to summon lightning. After a while, an electric current appeared. Fuang Voyu exclaimed joyfully, White, you've succeeded. Immediately the young man demonstrated by using the not Duong technique. To try, thinking it would be a tremendous destructive force, but when he shot, nothing happened, making him forget and turn to one side, hugging his own face. Fuang Voyu continuously comforted him. No, it's okay, you were already amazing. At this time from outside the cave, a man in black, holding a bottle, entered inside. Around him were two monster beasts wrapping around him. Hurry in. The two immediately turned to look towards the cave entrance. Being able to offer inner core to the master is your blessing. That monster beast continuously urged the young man in black. The master said, as long as you offer your inner core, can ensure your physical body won't die. In the future, your cultivation will have opportunities. Don't you dare resist, or you'll want to drink punishment wine. The scorpion on his body looked towards the two people Chu Fai-chi and Fuang Voyu had hissed. Immediately they laughed, haha, very savagely. When locked out you later, why don't you have any reaction? The three of us together might not be enough to defeat that old man. Better to save some strength to avoid after being taken inner core spiritual power also depleted. The scorpion continued, when Locke, what do you think? He helped you not always worry about after having your inner core taken you'll die, or what? Then he turned to look towards Fuang Voyu and said, here happens to be someone without an inner core. Immediately a vine from him shot straight towards Fuang Voyu. Really, let me see. Thinking that vine would wrap around Fuang Voyu's body. But immediately a stream of lightning from Chu Fai-chi cut off that vine. The scorpion on Huan Locke's body now fumed with anger. He kept shouting loudly, you gap-toothed fool, you're truly lacking our group. Hyun Locke of an Hong Blood Town, don't be reckless. He has the lightning-attracting stone on him. Seeing the young man's formidability, Fuang Voyu immediately rushed forward and said, Senior, you have good eyes. My family's Chu Bai can indeed harness the power of thunder and lightning. Now he's just missing the final layer to break through his cultivation and leave this dream valley. The scorpion guy asked again, do you know who that old man used to be? Without him here, even if you were the incarnation of heavenly tribulation, you couldn't get out. Fuang Voyu curiously asked, oh, that old man. Could it be he's some kind of golden immortal or something? The Hyun Locke guy closed his eyes and replied, yeah, that old man used to be a descendant of some divine clan. He held the position of upper god. Back then, he was called Hatam. Hatam and his crown prince Trong Tuet were very close. They traveled to four corners, creating secret realms. They were originally very happy, until 20 years ago, when Hatam killed Trong Tuet. He shattered her body and imprisoned her soul in this secret realm for eternity, for all lifetimes. After death, Hatam's wife became a demon immortal, losing her name. Later, he regretted it and wanted to revive his wife. So he carved many wooden dolls. He infused power into the wooden dolls, choosing the one that looked most like his wife to keep by his side. Hearing the story that Hyun Locke guy had been telling, Fuang Voyu now understood everything. But that still wasn't enough. Just spiritual power couldn't make a wooden doll become a living person. So Hatam wanted to refine internal alchemy to give the wooden doll a foundation for cultivation. The Hyun Locke guy smiled and nodded in agreement. That's right, young lady, you're very smart. Fuang Voyu looked up and asked, wasn't Ha Tam afraid of heavenly punishment for doing that? The Hyun Lok guy looked up towards Chu Fai. The lightning-attracting stone absorbs the thunder of heavenly tribulation, protecting Ha Tam's life. But the thunder that the stone releases gets stronger when it encounters strength. That's why Ha Tam could never retrieve this stone. Hearing those words from the black-robed man, Chu Fai just stood motionless while Fuang Voyu was extremely excited. She looked towards him and replied, Senior, with the lightning-attracting stone and your 3 cultivations, what percentage chance is there to defeat that old man? He spread his arms and stated firmly, only about 60%. Immediately, Fuang Voyu took out her medicine bag and threw it repeatedly towards the 2 young men. Then let's begin. I still have many magical tools and elixirs. I guarantee logistic support for everyone. The girl continued to smile cheerfully, holding a pile of treasures while looking towards Hien Lok. Senior, you know a lot about the master, so your cultivation must not be low. Please teach you by how to absorb the power of the lightning-attracting stone. We're counting on you. Hyun Lok smiled and replied, This little girl, when did I say I would join forces with you? He patted Fuang Voyu's head. Then he focused his gaze on Chu Fai Tri. Looking at Chu Fai Tri's attitude, he suddenly removed his hand from Fuang Voyu's head. The young man broke out in a cold sweat and thought, well then, helping you is also helping us.